All right, we are live. Welcome back to everybody in the stream. My guest tonight, my co-host tonight is Tim, and
Howdy,
everybody
folks.
say hello to Tim.
How is everybody out there in Linux land doing? I hope very well.
Getting feedback. Let me pause the video. Looks like the stream looks good. Okay, very good. So, all right, Steve Gunnick is in the house. Hey, hey, he says, hey, 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 what's up, man?
Hey, Steve.
Happy holiday weekend. And of course, don't text and drive all the time, but especially this holiday weekend. Be safe out there. You know, I saw right today some guy wanting to turn left across lanes. Apparently hit a motorcycle.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know. I don't think that, I don't. It wasn't serious. It sounds bad, but it wasn't. It was more superficial stuff. But you just never know. So be careful out there. 24/7, not just the holidays, of course.
We have a lot of problems here in Minnesota with motorcycle fatalities.
Really?
Yep, I think we've already this year. We were really late getting the snow off the ground. We had snow well past tax day, and
Wow. Okay.
I think we've already recorded 2 fatalities, unfortunately.
Okay.
Carmine,
Welcome, Joe.
I'm gonna
Welcome,
have
Joe.
to refresh here. It looks like my Hangouts page is having problems.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Sure.
How are you?
Good. Good. Yeah, we just started about a minute or so ago. Everybody say hello to Joe. And hello, Horace. Steve Gunick says, semi-driver rolled his truck today texting. Okay, that must be a new hobby. Please be careful out there. I mean, it's all it takes is not one idiot. And anyway, Kagan says, good evening, still waiting on the notification that you're live. I've sent it UPS. You should get it next week. I don't know.
Hang on. Sorry.
Now we can see 2 of Tim's.
2 heads are better than 1, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
one's frozen, then the other one's live.
It'll go away.
Okay. Okay. Special effects night.
Yeah. I have an interesting thing. I don't know if it's on subject or not, but I have a machine in the other room that's a dual booter. I use it for combination of things, fixing computers that have Windows on them, so I keep Windows 10 on that for that reason. Plus, I also have my Kill Disk Professional software on there for wiping and cleaning and killing the disks. But then I had Linux. I had Ubuntu 17.10 on there, vanilla, and I upgraded to 18.04, and everything went fine. And I couldn't get the printer to work. And I thought, here we go. It's kind of like what Tom was dealing with. So I thought, well, if I'm going to use it, I want my wife to start using it for our online stuff because she still uses her Windows, which is probably too late anyway. So I put Mint on it, cinnamon. I thought that'd be the easiest for her. Same issue with the printer. I've never had, so the only thing I could figure is maybe, because I've got a NetPia. It was given to me by AT&T, a wireless dongle. So I'm wondering, I don't know if the dongle itself specifically would have anything to do with it or not. So I'm going to try change and see if I use a different one or not. I don't know, because it's getting a signal, but it wants to use a generic CUPS driver, and it won't print to this thing. And I never have an issue normally. Even trying to download the drivers and install them natively or directly doesn't do a thing.
Well, what kind of printer is it?
It's that Brother. It's a Brother MSC
Brother.
7860
Okay.
PW. Matter of fact, the easiest thing might be to do is just stick the printer in there and hardwire it, because I've been wanting to get a more Linux.
There you go. Right.
Anyway, so
you're right. Right. Yeah.
But Windows 10 took from last night till part of today, and Ubuntu did a full upgrade inside of probably a couple hours at most, and that was only because I went to sleep during the middle of it, came back and found it. Oh, do you want to keep these, or you want to update to the package? a maintainer. It's so it's kind of stopped there. But
well, look, my least favorite thing of Windows, besides the spying game, is how long it takes for updates, the rebooting and the rebooting. I've cracked the joke, but all the reboots and the time it takes, I could grow a beard, by the time it's done. I mean, the system works. I'm not complaining about gaming or hooking up printers or stuff like that. But the update process is archaic in my opinion.
But even aside from that, today when I checked once, it had an update one update. It did it real quick, and then it said no more updates. And yet the hard drive was going and going and going.
Yeah.
I shut the wireless off. Hard drive stopped making noise.
Interesting. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on there. Welcome everybody in the chat. Derek, DT, DistroTube, I sent you a link, I think, to the right email. If not, I sent it to a stranger. If it's a stranger, hop on too. Why not? Sure, just speak English, and it's a family channel. So we have a Lucy Apprentice. He says Windows tries to do too much all the time. Very annoying. Okay, William Armstrong, Charlie Brown. Now, did you hear about Tommy Roberson getting arrested to jail? And who is Tommy Roberson? I don't think I know him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know. Everybody else, but in the stream, in the chat, welcome. Congratulations to DT. He passed, was it 5,000 subs? No, 6,000 subs, I think. Congratulations. Look, I remember the day I passed 1,000. Ooh, 2,000. Ooh, 3,000. Of course, after the first 2, 3, 4,000, I'm like, okay, well, that's nice, and it is nice. I'm just, playing it cool. So, TLC, but he spelled it TLC. I like that. Windows 8.1 Embedded in Industry Pro or Windows 10 LTS, you can completely stop Windows updates. Oh, until the user wants to update it. Interesting. Okay. Your name is Lucy Apprentice in it's 3 words. Right. I think I said that right. Said it correctly. Anyway, check out all the links here that I posted when the stream started. I keep getting, and I don't know why I keep forgetting to share this with you guys, but as an Amazon influencer, sounds fancy, they keep sending me promo codes for you guys, and I think I've posted them once, but I posted about 4 or 5 to help out the channel. They're basically just affiliate links. If you're doing any shopping, you can just check those promo codes. There's also a link there, topic of interest for tonight. A little bit different, more of a human story on how I believe the lack of technology saved people this time back in World War II. Horace, got your Solaris 10 and 11 certs today from Oracle. Okay. Hello, Scott. Adam Grubbs, how's it going? He says, doing fine. Thank you. Say hello to Joe. Tim was with us, but he was having some issues. Hopefully he comes back. Charlie, he's a political YouTuber in the UK. Also, Blizzard is having free weekend for Overwatch today. Scott says, guess what happened to me today? Windows 10 machine crashed again. Enough. I haven't had those issues. I'm sorry to hear that, Scott. I mean, so far, in terms of updating and upgrading my machines, Windows 10 works. It just takes forever.
The LTSB he's talking about, and I was suspicious that this is what it was, is they call it long-term servicing branch, and it's basically aimed toward enterprise editions, and it only, according to this, will delay, not stop.
Okay.
Updates. So, because like I said, I know you can go in and take the telemetry full out, but then as soon as they do an update, it's all back again. So.
Charlie says you never get those Win 10 crashes on 7. 7 was solid, still is, up until, well, when they're going to stop, when they stopped 2012 for support. Oops, dropped something. But yeah, Windows 10 is good. It is good. I really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, technically, it's the security stuff is still till 2020, but they have been talking that they may stop that.
Okay.
Some support sooner too, but it's like, how do you do that?
But then the telemetry has been backported, So, if you want complete sheer privacy in a system, not on the web, it doesn't exist, just go with Linux. Well, let's see. C128D's in the house. Welcome. He says Win 10 took 15 minutes to upgrade from 1709 to 15 minutes from 1709 to 1803, smoother and faster than any Linux upgrade. Wow.
It always seems that way when you're sleeping, doesn't it?
So you must have a beast of a machine. I don't. I have outdated dinosaurs, but 15. I mean, really 50? You're just stretching the truth. Hi, Heather. Hey, hey. She says, hey, hey. How are you, Heather?
Hey, Heather.
No, look, if that's how long it took or how little it took, that's awesome. I mean, I've had some updates not take long, but yeah, this big April spring update was huge. I did notice, maybe I'll show it next week. When I go to the security center for Windows, there's a ransomware protection, which is good. That should have been there a long time ago. So in terms of security, Windows has it, not privacy. I said security, they nailed it. But anyway, it looks like Atari Box is still going to be on sale at the end of May, Charlie. Okay, all right, okay. Well, my gaming pretty much is with Windows and the Xbox. I'm still a fan of the Master Chef, Master Chief. Freaking food again.
I still haven't touched a gaming system since the olden television.
Oh my. Hi, Derek.
Hey, you guys can hear me?
Hey,
We
Derek.
can hear you.
All right,
Welcome
great.
to the stream. Everybody say, I did catch DT's video this morning briefly. Just passed 6,000 subs, I believe, is something like that. So congratulations, and check out DistroTube.
Awesome job, Derek.
I call him DT
Thank you.
for short, so check it out.
Well,
Good stuff.
DT works because my initials are DT in real life and on the channel. So
Ah,
Cool.
yeah, I
And,
planned it that way.
nice. I think he stopped testing unstable distros, so I will stop calling his channel Deranged Tube or Demented
Not
Tube.
really.
Oh, as I was saying, he's
Real.
still. No, just kidding. Atari comes bundled with 100 games from Atari 2600 for free. Okay. I remember the Atari with the joystick controller. Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Those were the best games.
It was a different time.
Yeah, the old Centipede game. I love that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember Wizards? On the
Space
belly?
Invaders, Missile
Oh, yeah.
Command, and
Asteroids.
Asteroids.
Yeah.
Pong. Beep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott has a question. Being on Linux and fairly new, oops, go back to the chat here. What are some good things the user should do to secure the system? Root password, is it open? More tips and trick. Well, obviously a nice long. I think the perfect password is in the password is in the form of a sentence. I mean, it has to be something silly like "I love Jupiter strawberry cheesecake" or something like that. You know, it doesn't have to be that long. Yeah.
Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What I was going to say, what I've done is I use maybe take an old from years ago address, the numbers of the address, maybe part of a name, some symbols, whatever, something that you can remember easy. But they're still saying even that's not enough nowadays. I don't know.
One of the things that I do is if it's a laptop, my desktop machines, I don't do this on, but every machine that I have that has the possibility of becoming portable is when I do my first install, I go ahead and do the disk encryption. Rather than this doing the encrypt the home folder during the installation process, I pick to encrypt the entire disk and use the LVM.
That could be a little risky though if you forget the password or something like that.
I've used the same encryption password for like 4 or 5 years. I'll change my user account password from time to time, but my encryption password is always always the same.
Can I ask you something real quick? I a couple of times, I noticed last week too, and I never want to be rude and cut somebody off in a sentence. I was watching the show back again, but sometimes it seems like there's a lag here, and then after I'm talking, I realize I've talked over somebody, and I don't ever want to do that and be rude. But
No, don't worry about it. It's if it ever got to the point where we were just talking over, I would just say I would just say something. But I really haven't noticed it that bad. It's just a matter everybody gets involved, especially last week with that Linux privacy thing. That was intense, but it was good. It was good, informative. But no, I really haven't noticed to the point where I got to say, shut up. No.
Well, no, what I'm saying is sometimes it seems almost like a cell phone when you get a lag.
Yeah.
You get that brief lag.
No, I haven't. At least have you noticed it, Tim, where it got bad? I haven't noticed it.
I guess that answered that Tim's going.
He left. He says, "You guys talk too much. I'm out of here."
Yeah.
Maybe the
yes,
lag was too much.
Right. DT says 2009 was a great year. Linux, Hannah Montana Linux was. I'm still waiting for Tony Montana Linux, man. I don't know what's up with this freaking. No.
Time for a respin.
Yeah. Tim, you keep losing the stream, aren't? I don't think it's my end. It looks good on my end. I don't know. Anyway, Tim's having some issues with the stream. Hannah Montana Linux Q1 Fiend is downloading it now. Well, good luck. I don't know what else to say. Anarita says, "Is Tim better?" Yeah, he jumped on before we went live. He is feeling better. He sounds better, and so we'll get started here in a moment. I see Switch to Linux. I sent you an email, Switch. Feel free to join. But yeah, if you haven't checked out last week's probably one of the best community discussions we've had in a long time is Ubuntu spyware. Is it getting there? Linux privacy. We had some heated debates. We had Michael from Tux Digital come on. That's what this is all about, open and frank discussion. I got to tell you, as a Windows user, it was refreshing to just lay out their pros and cons. Many comments about that particular topic. And thank you for those comments. I also want to thank, I think it's Jamie. I could be wrong. I had notes. I should have wrote, but he suggested I call Friday night stream TTIF. Thank Toss, it's Friday. I kind of like it, so I may have to do that. Actually, I did make some notes here. I'll get to it in a second. But thank you, Jamie. I forget your, and I know some of you guys may choose to be anonymous. So if you don't want your name mentioned at all, whether in the chat or if you donate, tell me ahead of time. But I normally, to everybody who sends a pledge through PayPal, I always apply with an email in private. So.
Sorry about that, guys.
No problem, Tim.
Tassi, we're asking a question as I got see, now this stupid thing froze up again.
We still see you.
Did you install something? You installed Linux Mint, right?
Yeah, I've got Mint 18.3 with Cinnamon. But
I
was
yeah,
talking on this on Wednesday, and I had no problems.
Okay.
All of you guys are down in the bottom right of the screen, but the larger screen, Tassi, you've frozen up. Okay. I'm going to jump out and see if I can get this on Firefox. I think it's a Chrome issue. I don't think it's anything with me.
Or try Chromium.
Maybe I'll try that. I'll be
That's
right
what
back.
I'm using now. Cool.
Well, sorry about this.
No problem. Yeah, we'll wait for Tim to come back. We'll get on the topic for tonight. But yeah, those of you joining late, and or if there's anybody new, again, this channel was designed for newbies primarily. And I was a newbie years ago. So if you're new, don't be shy. Please say hello. You don't have to use Linux to jump on the stream. You may have a technology question. Maybe one of us can answer it. Or maybe you are new to Linux. You went to a forum. You asked a question. You wasn't treated with respect. You are treated with respect here. So please stop by. And also, when I started the stream early, check out the links in the chat. There's a few Amazon promo codes I keep getting from Amazon to share with you guys, and I never do, but tonight I remembered. So check out the affiliate links. Scott says you are a newbie. Well, welcome, Scott. That's great. Which OS are you doing, testing, using, Scott? And if you mention it, I apologize. I don't remember. I think I'm caught up in the stream here. I don't want to miss anybody. Looks like we're good so far. So.
Greetings.
Okay.
Yeah, we got time.
From Switch. I got to do my Russian because he has a Russian neighbor. Switch to Linux.
Yeah, find out Dad somewhere. Just look for me in the back alleys in the Russian neighborhood.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Switch
just
is-
finished
yeah.
watching some of Tom's stream. He's a real big fan of Alexa.
Alexa, order unicorn meat.
I heard. I got it. In fact, I got that news, ironically enough, on my Alexa in the morning.
Oh, you have one?
I did, but I unplug it during the day usually.
Yeah.
But you know what? Putting that major boo-boo aside, what happened? It's great to catch up on the news in the morning. Set an alarm, put me to sleep with some music or rainforest sounds. I mean, the core technology, again, it's like Windows 10. The core technology is great. It's the other stuff that I don't like.
Yeah, it's what people do with it.
But do I use it? I use it every day. I just don't have it plugged in all day. You know, I unplug it. I just pull the plug. Done. But yeah, I caught that where it accidentally recorded something and sent it to someone on their list, Tom, or something on their friends list, whatever. And there was
It's sent to the guy's boss. So good thing they weren't talking about how much of a jerk he was.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, and I think if I've read, I did some research. Technically, it wasn't designed specifically to do that, you know. But
Of
it
course
did it.
not. It happened when the backdoor bug kicked on.
Oh boy. Well, that's technology, good and bad. Yeah, and I caught it before the stream. The FBI is recommending, if you have certain Linksys and Netgear routers, to reset it because apparently there's a Russian hack, something that can hack your routers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Linksys, Netgear, 1TP Link, and a couple of NAS drives.
So pretty much, the brands that everybody has.
Yeah.
I'm running Linksys right now. So.
Real quick, Charlie Brown had asked about if anybody knows a program to check the health of the battery on laptops. And a Chromebook, or his Chromebook is only charging 81%, reducing the battery life from 11 hours to 7 hours. I know if are you running the native OS or are you running Linux? If it's Linux, I know there's apps you can add in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure about the
Yeah,
Chromebook itself.
Where's the question at?
It's only a few up from the bottom, Tom.
You
So
up from the bottom. Okay.
I see. Yeah, I see it now.
and the
How
other
old
thing
is?
too, real
Anyone
quick,
have a program to check the health of battery on the laptop?
First of all, Charlie, how old is the battery?
yeah. And is he running a native OS
Mm-hmm.
on it?
Yeah, another thing too with lithium-ion batteries, if they're not charging all the way up, one fix for them is if you run them completely dead, totally completely dead, and then
Yes.
recharge them, they'll go back. So it could be an issue if it's cycled, not charged all the way, then depleted, not charged, half and halves. Just charging it completely may solve the problem.
It's a Ubuntu fork or an X. Well, unless you mistyped it, it looks like Ubuntu fork or something.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is a pudding spoon.
Usually there's a built-in there's a built-in app to check the health of the battery. I know Peppermint OS has it off the bat. Linux Mint, Mate, I'm not sure about Cinnamon, and some other. You can just right-click on the power icon on the top and go
It
to
could
the
be-
battery. and
It could be the fact that I think he's trying to run a Chromebook, but he's not running Chrome OS. He's running
Oh, okay.
this Ubuntu
Okay.
board. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's in the package, most package managers, there's one called Battery Stats or something like that too. You can add that in if it'll tell them.
Yeah. Hmm. I'm not sure if the system sys info app has battery stats on there, but there's more than one, so that should not be a problem. Have
you heard about the latest Spectre?
Another Spectre? Oh,
Yeah, there's
jeez.
supposed to be another one out there, maybe. Which sounds like it's going to be patched. If it isn't patched already, it's going to be patched pretty quick.
Yeah, this
We
is
just
like the
need
fourth
to-
one now.
We just need to get a priest in here to exercise all of these processors. That's what we need to do.
Well,
Get rid
Tom,
of
you
all
have the
this
Christian channel. You could be the honorary priest for tonight.
Well,
Give
I'm
us a
not.
blessing.
I'm not in a Catholic view, and we don't have priests in our view. We have pastors. It's a little bit
Oh,
different.
Okay.
But I got the Latin books, so I can probably go do
Yeah,
that.
I mean, we're all under the same God, so it shouldn't make any difference, But anyway, hello, Mary
He's been
Melodies fan,
running-
welcome.
He's been running that for 6 months. It sounds like it was
Thomas
already
Chromebook. Yeah.
months. So either he's got to either recycle the battery down like Tom said, I don't know what the age of the battery is, like you asked, Carmine, but
Yeah.
you know, if the battery's getting older. Otherwise, it could be, you know, just I don't want to say a fluke, but you know, maybe there's something that's running in the background he's not aware of either. So maybe check your system
Yes.
resources and find out what's running in the background too.
Do most Linux distros work on servers? Scott asks. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yes.
Yeah, they would all work, but yeah, you should.
There's good ones. There's better ones.
I wouldn't put a rolling release distro on a server.
No.
Yeah,
no.
That's a bad idea.
Usually you get the headless ones.
Unless you're DT,
Debian.
then go ahead and do it. Who cares? You know.
Well, Debian is a good choice. CentOS is usually the standard, particularly if you're running cPanel. I run Ubuntu a lot on my servers for Ubuntu servers because there's some advantages to that. And there's obviously Fedora servers as well. So in short, though, you want to ask what is the application you want to do, because you have to think about, do you need Docker? Do you need, you know, things like that. So generally, if you're going in there and doing a lot of terminal-y type stuff, it just depends on which distro you're used to. If you're used to a Debian base, you either go Debian or you go Ubuntu. You wouldn't want to run like Linux Mint. You could, but it's not designed for it.
Okay.
It seems like nowadays the Ubuntu server edition is the way to go for
Correct.
most.
And that's usually what I do, because the Ubuntu
Yeah.
server edition, I believe, already comes with the LAMP stack already set up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even if it doesn't, it's so easy to install it. So
Yeah. C128 caught something normally you should not run down your battery all the way down. That's generally true, but if it's shot anyway, I guess you got none to lose.
Well, you'll get to this state where it won't allow it past a certain charge unless you completely run it down. Generally that is a bad idea, but in this condition you might want to.
Yeah. Kenny Whitten, are you new, Kenny, to the stream? If you are, welcome. TLP saves the battery on Linux Mint. TLP, that rings a bell. I'm not sure what that is, top of my head. Anna Rita says, pastors can marry and priests cannot, and ministers, I believe they can marry, not sure, but then again, I am atheist, so what do I know? I'm not a big fan of religion. Personally, I believe in the Bible, but people confuse religion with the Bible. But that's all I'm going to say on that, yeah.
I could answer that, but I think it's off topic.
Yeah.
Let's not go there right now.
we could get way off topic on that one.
Kenny, you are new. Everybody, please say hello to Kenny.
Greetings, Kenny.
Whitten. I hope I said that correctly. Greetings,
Kenny.
Kenny. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I always love it when new people come on, maybe never got a chance in the past or you was shy or whatever. But welcome, Kenny. And what OS do you use, if we may ask? And it doesn't really matter what you use, just out of curiosity. So, yes, everybody say hello to Kenny.
Before I was having my browser issue, Anna Rita or some other folks asked how I was feeling. I really appreciate the asking and this to kill all the questions off. I'm feeling much better than I was a week ago. That's for darn sure. So thank you for asking. I appreciate everybody.
Okay, I'm going to send out one more invite to Ben. He can welcome to join. And again, if you're new, this channel was designed for you guys and girls out there. So keep in mind, 10 years ago, we didn't have a lot of good Linux channels. We just didn't. And now we got more than one, and it's awesome to have all those choices. So for newbies out there, it's great time to learn Linux.
10 years ago, you didn't have a lot of good Linux distros either, really.
You really didn't. No. Well, Linux Smith was getting there. It was still like an infancy, but it was getting. I was using it. It was good. It was good. Mm-hmm. But obviously, 10 years later, But yeah, you guys, you content consumers, you have a lot of good choices, and this is awesome. So, when I started in 2010, I pretty much self-taught. I didn't have a switch to Linux to ask questions, or even Spatry at the time didn't jump on. I learned on my own, but as time went on, made friends and we exchanged information. So, you Linux newbies, man, this is a perfect time to learn Linux on YouTube. Perfect. Hi, Ben. Welcome.
Oh my God, Derek, I have good news, my friend. I finally got my ISO completed.
I've been waiting. I can't wait to take a look at it.
Just, maintaining a distro, like I said the other night, is a pain in the neck.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it. Yeah.
No,
Dude,
thank you.
Wow, Ben, you grew a beard. Well, it took you so long to do that.
I know. It took us so long, right? But a bump bump.
Fucking big.
John,
Oh,
my
God.
column, please.
Dude, I also got highlights.
Okay.
Linux will do that to you.
What am I going to
Yeah.
say?
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I would never
Grandma
want to
just
do
terrified.
my own Linux distro. For one thing, doing your own Linux distro, I've had people ask me to create something, my own Linux flavor or something like people on the channel, and I don't want to be anybody's support channel either. I mean, because when you create something, people are going to bug the crap out of you about it. So
That's human nature.
Yeah.
It's for them to ask, but yeah, I don't want to. No, I mean, obviously, if you have a simple question like the question on the battery, please
of course.
ask. So, but yeah.
But yeah, being somebody's support tech can be a drag.
So when I check out your distro, if I have any problems, I can hit you up, right, Ben?
If you must, go ahead. If you want to, I mean,
Oh, I will.
I created it. If you need any help, go ahead. That doesn't bother me. I mean,
I'll be right back.
All right.
I mean, like I said, it's my distro. Why wouldn't you ask me questions?
Yeah. Well, when you get it up, just shoot me an email.
I'm just rebooting Windows into my Manjaro to upload it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have.
Anna Rita says when when do updates on Windows, or is that what he said? Yeah. Your hair will grow and cut it again, regrow, and still up. I'm waiting for mine to grow back. You see, 3 of us already don't have any left waiting for stuff over there. So we got.
I gave up on Windows, so I still have a head of hair.
Yeah, you got all your hair back.
Yeah.
I just keep quiet on the hair conversation. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
well.
Oh crap! It put it right back to the Windows boot loader. I hate it when it does that.
Oh, let's see. Any questions that we missed or not missed here?
Yeah, Kenny's asking. Yeah, I am from Louisiana. That is correct, Kenny.
All right. So you have good. We're going to get on the food topic again. I was going to ask about barbecue. Can't get away from Henry. Distro 2, what are you running these days?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Manjaro. I've been on Manjaro now for 3 or 4 weeks straight here. I quit hopping. I did some extreme hopping there for a couple of months where every week.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like Manjaro.
It just works.
Nice.
It works with my hardware. It just. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just works for a lot of people. Some it doesn't, but some it does.
Well, that's why I did the video yesterday looking at Linux and Manjaro is like the two heavyweights. And people are like, "Oh, you're just saying that because of distro watch." I'm like, no, it's just.
Well, technically, the real heavy one is GNOME, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Okay, so I got a tech question.
Yeah.
Tom or DT, Chromium is constantly throwing the page unresponsive message up. Either kill the page or wait for it to become responsive.
Is it the same page or is it?
I'm actually on the Hangouts inside of my web browser.
Oh, Lord.
And it's doing it.
Yeah.
And it says page is unresponsive.
Yeah, page is unresponsive, and right now, you guys can probably see me okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it froze up on Tom doing something. I'm not sure what. I think taking a bite of something.
There you go.
Are you eating to Tom?
I'm eating some pudding. Yes.
Yeah, but
Okay.
you now you're having basically when you think about the same issue or similar issue as what you just had on Chrome. I mean, if you're having freezing issues, so it makes me wonder if you're not having something going on with the distro itself or whatever.
Yeah. Usually that's a JavaScript file that's not loading right.
Yeah.
So try going into F12, push F12, pull up the console, reload the page, and see if it throws any errors. That's what I'd try first.
Yeah, I would try that, truthfully. Tom's idea may be a good idea.
Yeah, have you worked with the developer tools before?
What?
Oh, I think he's doing it because he's frozen.
Yeah. He switched to the TTY, so now his cameras.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, his camera's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, but if it keeps doing it, though, let's see.
It's time to distro hop.
There you go.
That's what I do in these situations.
I guess
Honestly-
the other question is it installed on our bare metal or is it on a thumb drive? Things like that. Is the disk full?
Yeah, he's frozen again.
I had a Linux Mint, the Linux Mint that I put Budgie on, right? So I ran Linux Mint Budgie for a while, and the thing got to the point where I couldn't log in. It's like, what's going on with it? Something messed up. Well, it turns out that there's something in the caching and the disk got full.
Yeah.
And so I just went in there and with a different distro and cleaned out the disk and it worked perfect again.
I had that same problem about 4 or 5 months back. I had created one too many VMs on my machine here, and 100% disk, and then my computer started locking up in a big way. So
100% disk.
Yeah,
Wow.
Linux does bad things when you get to 100% disk.
Hmm. See, that's when DT you have a backup OS in Windows, instead of start doing your VMs in Windows. That way you can just keep on saving.
Oh, let's not even go there with him.
back up.
Oh, we take jabs at each other. It's okay. It's cool.
Hey, here's my Manjaro, guys.
All right.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, it's a jellyfish Manjaro.
Nice. What desktop are you using?
XFCE.
Very good.
Okay.
Yes.
I think Manjaro did the absolute best in the whole world with their XFCE desktop.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Okay.
I love its design.
There's a lot of really good XFCE distros, though. Even Arch-based distros for XFCE.
Yeah.
Swag Arch. I don't know if you guys have ever checked that one out. That's pretty good with XFCE.
My buddy Fishman tried out Swag Arch. He was not too impressed.
Yeah. I liked it. I thought it was
I tried it too, and it was like, oh my god. I mean, my trackpad nor my keyboard on any of my laptops worked on it. Funnily enough, I could not make the stupid thing work.
right. I guess it also depends on the main dev. I mean, if he's not working on the distro on a laptop, he doesn't think about things like that. So many people, only work on something like on a desktop or on a laptop, or sometimes only in a VM, and they never even think about people's different hardware.
The weird thing is that certain things just don't work with certain hardware.
Yeah.
It all depends on what the guy's using who made it. So.
Right.
Carmen, you had asked me too when we were talking about Studio. You said there was only a couple months left built on 1710, but when I went out and I looked at it, thinking, no, it's a 9-month release. If 1804 just came out, it should be 9 months from the time of release, I would think, correct?
Yeah, you got 2 more months, I think.
Yes.
Wow.
They time it so that by the time 1710 runs out, 1804.
Right. I think it's still a couple. You're right. Yeah.
Okay, so it still parallels that. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
I think so.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
jump on my Manjaro sheet, guys. Hold on.
Now I don't know if they'll offer like the other 1710s did, where they'll offer you the update to the next one within this. I don't know if they will or not.
I'm not in a hurry, honestly, Joe. I can, like I said, how I have my 2 main machines set up now, they seem to work. Right now, I have everything updated here with my Linux Mint Mate. I'm going to go back to my Ubuntu Mate.
Okay.
Ben, you're back, yeah. But, yeah, I think I'll be okay.
On the Manjaro.
So Charlie says, thank you for not paywalling your call. You are welcome, Charlie. Yeah, I never was comfortable putting up a purposeful paywall. But I know we had some discussions last week about what Brian Lundick is doing, and he had to do what he had to do. I completely understand. I'll talk more about that in a second. But
hey, I'm going
to yeah.
We actually have some thunderstorms rolling through, and I think my problem may be connectivity.
Okay, that is possible.
I'm going to jump off and let the storm roll through. Toss. I'll try to join up here later.
Yeah.
Nice seeing all you guys. If I don't see you yet again tonight.
Yeah, Tim.
Cool.
If I don't get you.
Well, I'll at least be in a hangout later. I don't know if these guys will be, but I will.
Well, these are usually turn out to be 2-hour streams, maybe a little bit more. But Tim, if you want to jump back tonight, that's fine. If not, don't worry about me. I'll catch you. I might be on again Sunday night, possibly. So yeah.
If I don't catch any of you guys, seriously, have a very, very safe Memorial Day.
Absolutely.
And if I can promote this at all, if you happen to see a vet slap them on the arm and tell them thanks for their service.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
One of these supposed birthplaces is right next to where I'm at for Memorial Day. So
There you go.
Okay.
Bullsburg is what Bullsburg claims to be the
Okay.
birthplace of Memorial Day. So there's always a big shindig.
I do
going
know.
on.
Okay. All right. Cool.
It's
I
funny.
did
It's the
my
only
good
place
deed.
also in this county that does not have an open liquor regulations. You can actually walk around town with open beer and whatever else.
Well, I did my good deed for the weekend so far. Was there's an annual thing with the Knights of Columbus, and I went over and helped prepare the meals for tomorrow's dinner that they're going to provide for free to homeless people. So
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
back on food again.
That's well,
Always.
Tim. Tom is eating, and I have water. I did have grapes. You can see what's left of the grapes here. Black
Mate
grapes.
meatballs.
Latte and meatballs. That's right. Thanks to
already-
T for that
I got
acronym.
grapes. Let's go get some of them.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
I had pepperoni.
might as well take. Well, it is a holiday week, as if there's going to be barbecues,
Absolutely.
and steaks, and
I'm doing brisket.
there you go.
Do we want to get to our topic before we get to food? Or, I mean,
Yeah, really. No, go ahead. If you want to talk food, I got to get a few things out of the way while we're talking. First of all,
Anna Rita says I'm making her hungry.
but of
Anna
course.
Rita,
Making people hungry.
homemade pudding.
Okay, let's see. First of all, I mentioned it before, but thanks to I think someone named Jamie. I think it was he's not on the stream. He suggested I call these Friday night streams TTIF. Thank Toss It's Friday. I kind of like it. So maybe the future ones I will call this Friday night show
Well,
TTIF.
This ain't right. What the crap?
What ain't right, Ben?
Oh, God. It didn't install the proper themes for Manjaro in my spin.
Oh, that ain't right. Okay.
Call tech support there, Ben.
You see, this is why I don't create my own distro right here. This is why I don't do it.
PCTLC's in the house. Welcome.
Hey, Colin.
Hi, Colin.
Colin! Welcome, buddy.
Tom, I will not be available tomorrow night. This is weekend. My son has graduation ceremony Sunday. I got to get ready tomorrow. Then his party is Monday. So no Life in Linux again this weekend.
All right. Well, eventually we'll get back to it.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine.
We're
Then
gonna
I'll get-
try and get our. I think after this weekend, everything should be back to normal. I hope. People have been asking me to bring back the news nonsense. I've been thinking about that. The YouTuber of the month. That's how you guys discovered. I discovered Switch to Linux. Big Daddy, DT, and so that would be something nice. And that's how you guys also discovered the singer, awesome singer Stephanie Forey. And do check her out. Let me type it here. She's an independent singer-songwriter, beautiful voice. She's from Boston, but she works in Germany, in Munich. And we've done a half a dozen or so news nonsense, me and her. She's been a good sport, but you guys, not you specifically here, but the community discovered Stephanie. She's an awesome independent singer here from the States. So we talked. You guys want to see more tutorials? We talked about Windows Wednesday or Microsoft Monday, stuff like that. I would like to get on this set schedule, but you guys may have noticed I don't do as much because especially tutorials and stuff that's not live, because with these machines it just takes freaking too long to render video. I was telling Joe it's like trying to tow a boat with a Honda Civic versus a Ram truck. You might get there, but it takes too long, So thanks to all of you who support the channel on PayPal. Right now, I'm not going to go back to Patreon personally. I know Switch has it and Derek has it, and that's great. But I will not. So PayPal is pretty much the direct way to help support the channel. Of course, there's the Amazon links and the T-shirts. But I have a certain monthly funding goal in mind. If we can reach that, it's not a paywall. But if we can reach that goal, then I will definitely have a set schedule, pick up a new computer and stuff like that, and move on from there. But that's the reason why. I'm just not in the mood to wait for videos to render. So, all right, that's out of the way. For tonight's topic, and again, welcome everybody in the stream. Steve says, no pain, no gain. You can have that. I don't want it. So,
Referring to William in the chat, he mentioned he did.
Oh, is that what it is?
Install.
Okay. All right. I think we're caught up in the chat. If I miss anything, let me know here. But I think we got it. Again, once again, if you are new, please stop by and say hello. Again, this channel, I was a newbie once too. I've learned everything, most of it by myself, so you are welcome here. Let's get into tonight's topic. This is something that's personal for me. Joe knows something about it. I think I mentioned to everybody here, but Joe knows more about it, and Tim. Back in World War II, this was before technology, obviously, before satellites and the internet and cell phones. Of course, you all know the story of World War II and Germany and the Nazis and all the concentration camps and all that. There is a lost story of an Italian concentration camp called Ferramonti. What makes this story unique is out of almost the 4,000 or so Jewish prisoners, mixed Italians, Jews, I guess, almost all of them survived. This was not a concentration camp in the truest sense or the strict sense of the word. It was more of an internment camp, a prisoner camp. But this was a camp where people actually went there to be saved versus, killed. And what had happened in this camp was, and I just learned about it really last year based on my dad's film about this camp. The Italian people at the time, even though they were a fascist regime, they had partnered, well, Mussolini was in charge at the time. They did not believe in what the Nazis were doing. They didn't buy all that propaganda. So what the people did there, and they were poor enough as it is, they welcomed these new people, these Jews, really into their hearts, and they protected them as much as they could. The people and the commanders, they allowed them to have a synagogue, a library, a wedding. I think a couple of children were born there. It's an amazing story of humanity, and this is one of the, I mean, once again, this is a case where the lack of technology, I think, saved them. Because if there would have been instant communication, it may have been turned out to be a more tragic story. So out of that camp, no one was killed. Now, people died of malaria and maybe natural causes, but no one was purposely killed in this camp called Ferramonti. And I'll type it in the thing here if you want to look it up. Ferramonti. Almost all survived. Out of that time, you also had what's called the forgotten or hidden children. Children's, babies, kids whose identities were changed to protect their lives. And even today, I believe there are still people who may not know that they're probably Jewish or whatever their real names are. I've seen a few videos on YouTube, wonderful human stories. The Italians, they pulled it off, and there's a wonderful story. There's a hint of this, what I'm going to tell you in my dad's movie. I wish it was more of it. The commander of the camp was given an order by the regime, by the fascist regime. You need to put your foot down, was the order. You're too nice to these Jews. You need to show them who's boss. The commander says, okay. He rounded up all the children, put them in the trucks, took them out of the camp. I can imagine the horrified looks on the parents' faces. Later on that day, the commander comes back. All the kids are happy and laughing. The people say, what did you do? The commander says, I just took him downtown for ice cream. Don't worry about it. It is a wonderful story of the commanders and the Italian people at the time basically telling the Nazis, up yours. We're going to do it our way. And they pulled it off. So I just wanted to share that story with you. And the reason why I'm sharing it, because my dad produced a movie from that story called The Cross and the Star. And it was a story that he felt needed to be told. My dad now was 82. It took about 6-7 years total time to produce it. He's now 82. His health isn't all that good. But the movie is called The Cross and the Star. If you check the links below, there is a trailer of that movie. In Italian, it's called La Croce e la Stella. And honestly, back in 2011, I didn't know all about this. And I tried to convince him, Pop, what are you doing? You have heart issues. Don't get involved in this. He was insistent it was a story that needed to be told. After I saw the movie, he was right. I can see why the Vatican liked it. Uh, right now, we don't know what's going to happen with the project. It's done. He's gotten offers on the movie, but there's a lot of politics involved. He had a private screening last month in Rome. He was asked by the Jewish community that saw the movie. They thanked him and they begged him. Apparently, they said, "Please do not sell out cheap with the movie." The problem is the offers he's gotten is to sell out cheap. They want to pay him a fraction of what the movie's worth, and they want him to give up all his rights. That's a definition of selling out cheaply. He's not going to do it. So the movie right now is in limbo. So for those of you who believe in the power of prayer, he could use some because he's frustrated, understandably so. Again, you can check out the link below if you haven't seen it. I can't share more with you of it now, obviously, because the movie hasn't been sold yet. But we'll see what happens from now on. But it's been disappointing trying to get it out. They're trying to get it to the people that have the power to partner with him. And my dad is willing to take zero money down, nothing. Just partner with him, show the movie to the theaters, and maybe they can split the profits, stuff like that. So that's why I'm sharing this story with you, putting the film aside. It is a wonderful human story. I've never heard of a camp that saved lives, and you probably haven't either. So the credit has to go to the humanity and having faith in doing good in the world in the face of evil. And that's all I'm going to say at this point. If you have any comments or questions, I'm trying to catch up or in the comments in the chat. Please ask. Charlie says it is a good movie. I think so. It's an emotional movie. It is shot in Italian with English subtitles. The music is by a foreign Academy Award winner named Sandro Di Stefano. I think he understands English. You can look him up on Facebook if you want to say hello. Make sure I spell it right. 99% original music. Some of it was written by my dad, but the original score, the main score, was written by him. And it's one of those, I think the last wonderful, cool Italian theme I heard probably 40 years ago in The Godfather. And this theme kind of reminds you of that. It just sticks with you, the music and the melody and everything. Anyway, so check out Sandro Di Stefano. He has a few things on YouTube. He's always on Facebook, and he's a busy man. He teaches film composition. So you can check him out. But that's why I wanted to share the story. This was before technology. This is an example of the lack of technology saving lives. Because I think today we are over-dependent on technology. And of course, technology can do good, obviously, but it can do evil, such as texting and driving. So I wanted to share that story with you. And again, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask. Yes, somebody says, is my dad looking for a film buyer? Yeah, well, more of a partnership. He's not looking for a sellout. I believe he's going to send it to the Toronto Film Festival and something in Switzerland. Maverick, LSC, welcome to the stream. Mugen, you saw the trailer, looks interesting. Thank you. Colin, yeah, I'll send you the link. Send me the email first. Sorry, Colin. I don't think I have your email. The movie right now is not available in Indigo Kickstarter. No. His goal, because it's their story overseas, his goal is to show it over there first. He got an offer from the biggest movie studio in Rome, but it's not really a partnership, so we're back to square one. Let me go to inbox here, and here we go. All right, Colin, I will send you this now. All right, but yeah, the movie, basically it's two stories. Without spoiling it, for one thing, it does have a happy ending. I won't give it away because apparently that's how it happened in real life. And it was a happy ending. The camp was liberated in 1943 by the Allies. And a lot of people were saved thanks to the goodness of a residue of humanity at that time in the face of evil. So thumbs up for the Italians, I guess. Colin, I sent you the link. So The movie, it's two stories. It tells the backstory of the camp of Ferramonti. We travel back and forth in time, but then it travels in modern day, which would be 2017, of this priest, Catholic priest, typical Catholic priest, who's given a diary from a father he never knew from the camp who was Jewish. So the priest now is in the search for the truth. He has to come to terms that he was indeed a hidden child of the Holocaust, and he has to come to terms of who he is. Is he Catholic? Is he Jewish? Does it matter? He comes to a resolution at the end, and it is uplifting. That's pretty much all I can tell you without spoiling it. But we'll see where it goes from here. But the project right now is on the shelf as it is. It's in limbo. And that's how Hollywood works, unfortunately. Mugen says, your great-grandfather ran from Germany in 1897, and he saw the writing on the wall. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Maverick says, am I familiar with Harmony Gold USA? I am not. What is that? Similar things are happening now in America. Well, I hope not. Heather said I should use Zoom like Big Daddy. Everyone would be on all together. I just don't want more stuff in my system, Heather. But thank you. Hi, Colin.
How are you, Toss?
Yeah. So again, the link for the trailer is down in the show notes. If you haven't taken a look at it, please do now. Let me know. All of you who like it, I'm going to call my dad something. Let him know. He knows already. I try to give him words of encouragement. Don't give up. You know, do what you got to do. And he's heartbroken he can't come to my son's graduation. I said, don't worry. You take care of your heart. He's on medication. You do what you got to do, and you'll be fine. So, Harmony Gold is a motion picture distributor. Okay. See, the problem is, you know, my dad's last name isn't Spielberg, Stallone, Rothman, you know, so he's not going to get attention because of the name, you know. I hate, but that's just the reality of the business. You know, it's not a big name. It's a small production company. You know, just two guys got together, him and the writer, and they did the movie. That they hired the actors, the film composer, and everything clicked. The story clicked, the scenery clicked, the music clicked. And they got a wonderful emotional story. But apparently the people who are interested are not that interested. They just want to take it from him. And that's where we're at. So, again, it hits me personally because of what he went through, not just because of the personal story of that time that I did not know. It's a forgotten story that needs to be told, in my opinion. Anyway, so I'll look into Harmony Gold USA, Tux 1313. I'll take a look. I don't know what, you know, but see, the thing is trying to bypass all the stepping stones and get straight to the guy who's in charge and say, take a look at this film, you know. But yeah, I think somebody told my dad, some company, oh, just sit tight. He's 82 years old with the heart problem. He has a bad tick. You want him to drop dead? I mean, jeez. But anyway, I won't go there. So
I think I made it back on. Can you give me a voice?
All right, Tim. Yeah, good.
Not too loud.
It's perfect.
That sounds good.
It's
Awesome.
perfect.
Can you hear me, Toss?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't have the correct microphone before.
Okay. Yeah, it's all good. So anyway, that was the topic for tonight. We can move on to something else if you wish. But I wanted to share that with you and a little piece of history that few people know. So Harmony Gold USA has ties to Italian production studios. Interesting. I'll have to take a look at their website. Jeff Pearson, welcome. He made a documentary, sold it to Sundance because he needed the money. Yeah, my dad doesn't want the money. He just wants the film to be shown. He wants a partnership. You know, he doesn't want to sell out cheaply, as it were. So, and that's the holdup. So, but I'll check into that. So, yeah, there are probably 50 top film festivals in this country. The thing is, if you send it to every film festival, it gets expensive too. So they produced the series Shaka Zulu. I did not know that. Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, Jeff. Yeah, you need to watch what you sign, who you sign with. He may just try to distribute it himself, do it all himself, and I'm worried because of his health. So, plus he's there and I'm here. So, anyway, but thanks for the tip. I will look into that. So, all right. Well, that's all I had for this topic. We can move on to Linux and stuff, other stuff. Thank you for all your suggestions here.
We can talk about the train wreck that is abbreviated GDPR.
Yes. That is not going to go. I guess Facebook is being sued for $8 gazillion, Tom. I saw that.
I feel so bad about
Google and Facebook combined $8.8 billion.
Yeah, but it won't even hurt them. They can write that check. It won't even hurt them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I'm reading on right now is there's conflicting information about cookie regulations. So they want you to have informed consent to agree to accept cookies on a website. How do you set up a website that doesn't have any form of cookies in some way, shape, or form? You can't.
Not today. Yeah. Every website uses cookies.
So, really, the only way to do it is to drop everything of databasing, every type of site we're using, and just go with straight HTML pages. And that seems to be the only way to truly comply. I have my site down to right now 3 cookies only, and all 3 of them are Google Analytics.
Yeah.
But how do I have a little button that says, okay, I'm choosing not to have Google Analytics? Well, I know of one way I can pull it off the site for some users, but it requires them to log in, which needs another cookie.
And you got to have Google Analytics in order to have the site be found or trafficked or whatever.
I don't. And to be honest, there is actually an open source version of Google Analytics that you can host on your own database. I'm thinking this might be the time to do it because I think I could do it without cookies. Because it's like, if I want to run up a site, and it's like now the site should have the banners. Of course, we've all seen those banners. So now it's like, okay, you have to click the button to say I opt into cookies on Google, and you can't do that. Google doesn't have the tools to do that. The web doesn't have the tools to do that. So it's just become this giant nightmare of insanity.
25 years ago, that might have made sense, this whole cookie thing. But now, literally 100% of the websites out there have cookies. Yeah. Every you will never go to a web page that doesn't use cookies.
Yeah.
And most will tell you. No, I shouldn't say most. There are some that you'll get a pop up and it tells you that you're using them or whatever. And,
as of today, those laws would have changed. You used to be able to just ignore it, whatever else. Now you have to click through the thing.
Right. Now, I meant to ask you too. Whatever happened with your little Facebook experiment? I know I was following it for a while, but I don't remember. Did you? I'm assuming you ended it, and how did that finalize for you with your?
Yeah. As far as my finalization, I think that just from what I can see, I don't think it's gathering the voice data, but it turned into nothing more than every single post was degenerate pornography, and so. That's maybe a lesson in and of itself. I don't think Facebook should be allowable for anybody under the age of 18 because it's all I did is randomly pick things with random rolls of dice, and I landed on every single post, every single thing was porn.
What about the other thing, though, too, is you did that with pretty much a burner phone. Do you think there would be a difference, though, with a smartphone?
Well, the difference is, obviously, if you use Facebook, that's generally not how most of our Facebooks look. The reason is when we go in as a social network as it is, you go in, if you do what they want you to do, which is upload your contact list, upload all the phone numbers, it cross-references everybody, shows you all your friends, attaches that shutout profile to who you are, and you build out a real, genuine friendship network of who you are. The problem is with going in with a burner phone without a lot of that is every friend request is it's like there's all these default friend requests because there were 100 people on there. It was saying, possible friends, and I think every single one of them were porn. porn people, porn pushers. And so the problem and the danger is if that's in there at any degree, and you have a 13-year-old now legally able to use Facebook, you give them the phone, they put that up there. And then now they can actually get in there, and sure, they connect with their friends, but if they get one of those things, their whole feed could turn into that.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't let my kids see his Facebook until they were 18 for that simple reason that they for a group that wants to block all this bad stuff and make a safe community, it certainly isn't a safe community.
I mean, I only use Facebook. I don't use it for much of my YouTube stuff, just a couple things. But, friends, family photos. It is a matter of convenience, to be honest, but I don't really go that far.
I don't miss it.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, look, if Facebook was to go away completely, I would be cool. But it is convenient. Like Windows 10 is convenient. I don't use it all the time, but it's there if I need it. So,
like literally the day I requested my account be deleted,
yeah,
I haven't even thought about it. I mean, it's just.
So Mastodon's working out okay?
Yeah, I like Mastodon. I like was Diaspora was the
right.
The
okay.
other one, yeah.
Okay, cool. Kagan had a question for Switch. He says, "Are you on the set of U-571?"
Yes.
Looks good, doesn't it? But yeah, I might try Diaspora and the other one just to see what it's like. But so it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's dead simple to sign up and start using. And like I said, because of you doing this channel, you got so many thousands of followers. Just announce it to your channel, and you'll have a couple hundred people follow you over there.
Cool.
You'll instantly have a little community around you.
Right. Maybe I'll just do that. Just keep it only Linux or technology related, and keep.
And there's a lot of that over there. Most of the people on those sites are kind of, technology, privacy, security oriented people anyway. So.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm explaining it right. I know what it is. Heather asked what a tracking cookie was. Basically, it's a track, or what a cookie is, I should say, web cookie. And I said basically it's a tracking script, if I call it that, with, when you visit web pages, it's kind of like leaving a footprint in the sand when,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how they call it a cookie, sweet.
Yeah.
You want it. No, it's not sweet, and I don't want it.
The thing is that Facebook, of course, is using cookies, and there's a giant network of cookies that, by the way, is not going to disappear under the GDPR. All this is going to do is hurt the people who care about following the rules, and everyone else is going to keep doing whatever they're going to do. But the problem is that as the advertisers would put on a cookie, they could analyze that cookie and follow you around to the different sites. This is how advertisers are building up profiles on you. And so that's kind of what they're doing. And there's a lot of things that might need a cookie. Charlie Brown says, the only time you'd need a cookie is to log in or whatever. Not necessarily. There are some other valid reasons to use a cookie. For example, DuckDuckGo uses cookies. If you want to go in there and make a customization, because they're not storing account, all of that stuff is stored locally on your device, and it's stored via cookies. So there's a lot of uses and applications in that respect. But some of the cases, like this issue with Google Analytics, now the regulation kind of breaks down into essential and non-essentials. And so what I'm looking at is these 3 Google Analytics scripts, are these essential or non-essential? And the definition seems to boil down is, can you identify an individual user based on that information? And so I think this entire cookie policy part of it, if this went away, I mean, it'd make better sense. But then other people are saying that this policy doesn't have anything to do with cookies at all. So there's so much conflicting information, and nobody knows what in the world this thing actually has to say.
See, that's why, and Switch and I think we spoke about it last month during a Life in Linux, is it possible to completely erase yourself off the internet? I don't think so. You can be more private, more secure, and take steps, but to completely erase yourself? I mean, how do you know?
Anything you've ever done is already in the archive.org or whatever. I mean, you can start deleting things now, but they've already got it. Somebody's already scraped that data. So,
Yeah, all you'll do is moving forward.
Yeah.
If you stay off, if you basically stay off the web,
right,
you're gonna have to do moving forward. Get rid of your smartphone. Go back to a phone on the wall if they're still around.
But see, the people now have been conditioned. What, 1 billion Facebook users? How many cell phone users? Maybe more than that. We've been conditioned that you gotta have it. You don't have to have it. It's a convenience to have, just like Facebook. I don't have to have it. It's a convenience. Probably Windows 10 right now is as good as Linux. I'm not sure I have to have it, but it is a convenience to have it. But I think the people have been conditioned to just accept things the way they are, not everyone, without asking questions. That's why it's important to have discussions like this, or the one last week on Linux privacy, Ubuntu privacy, pros and cons, or whatever. People need to stay informed, because knowledge is power, as they say. But, look, people have busy lives. Life gets in the way. So, Scott says you really miss payphones. So do I. Put the quarter in and, but yeah. I remember those back in New York as a kid.
I remember when you were a dime. You remember that? They were 10 cents when you were a kid?
Yeah, I remember that back in Brooklyn, yeah.
When they went to a quarter, it's like it was a big deal.
I know. Sure, I remember. Yep.
You made a long distance call, you have a pocket full of change.
And it was those stand-up phone booths. It wasn't like a Superman booth. It was just like an enclosure up to he just walked in. But yeah. Charlie, you have not had a mobile phone number for 7 months? Okay. I got my mom a flip phone. I think she uses it like once a year. Come pick me up, I'm ready, or something like that. But just for emergencies, that's who I gave it. It's one of those track phones, like a disposable burner phone. But we are conditioned to our technology cell phone. There were times I go to Kroger's. And the one time I went to Kroger's for food, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot my cell phone. I'm like, I don't like that feeling like I left my left foot at home or something. It's not good. Yeah. There are times where my phone's home. I don't need it. I'm not traveling far, so if the car breaks down, I'll just walk home or something. And
I'm the kind of person. Sometimes I'll just leave my phone. If I don't want to be disturbed or something, I just leave it home. If I'm going on a trip for a few hours, and people ask me, "Well, what happens if there's an emergency? What if you break down?" Like, well, what did we do before we had cell phones?
How about everybody driving by has one?
Yeah.
Yeah, where before you had to truck maybe a few blocks or a couple of miles and find that payphone, but those aren't around anymore. But like Tom just said, the phones are driving by you now.
Yeah.
Because you see an accident, there's 6 people standing out there with phones out.
Unfortunately, they're all recording. They're not calling someone.
But so many people are scared to death to go anywhere without their phone. It's like, you know what? It'll be all right. You can go a few hours or even a few days sometimes without your phone, and you'll be all right. The world will still be there when you get back.
I remember as a kid back in Brooklyn, it was summertime. It was stickball or doing other stuff on the streets. Maybe back then it wasn't that safe either, but it was because people texting and driving. It was other stuff going on back then. But it was a simpler time. We didn't stay home to watch TV or cable back. We wanted to be out in the summertime, to be with friends, enjoy life, do stuff, get in trouble. Stuff like that. But it probably this technology revolution probably started in the 80s with HBO and cable TV versus the antenna with the rabbit ears. We started staying home more, stuff like that. And then in the 90s, the internet and computers started. It has taken control of our lives, and it's not all good. It really is. We become robot zombies. I mean, how many people do I see, in restaurants, the mall, even some friends, they're just plastered on that phone. I'm like, will you please put the phone down and talk to me or talk to your loved one for fracking sake.
There's a thing going around Facebook. I almost would love to play it for you now. It's real. It's like a trek through memory lane for a lot of us at our age. They're talking about before the shootings and the cell phones and the social media and the internet and all that. Mm-hmm. And it's all the things we used to do was, talking about hide and seek at dusk, red light, green light, red rover, playing kickball and dodgeball until the first, no second, no third, no street light came on. Then when you got caught, when you had to come home, you either got whistled for or yelled, to come home at night. Ring Around the Rosie, London Bridge, Jumper. I mean, you could go down the whole list.
Yes.
And that was our lives. When you got scraped knees, nobody's worried about whether somebody was, going to turn you in for getting beat up by your parents or something, because that's how you lived your life. You got scraped knees because you were out playing.
We are addicted to instant, useless information. Like, it's almost like if somebody walks down the street and here's a guy fart, hey man, some guy just farted behind me. Really? That you need to text or whatever?
Now you need to put it on Facebook.
Yes. Call it Fart Book. There we go.
Yeah, with a meme.
You mentioned dodgeball. Back in Brooklyn, we called it poison ball, because if you got hit in the cojones, it felt like poison.
And they around here, they actually started banning a lot of that too, because they said it was too violent. It's
dodgeball, really? Well, well, if you got in the eye or something.
That was one of my favorite games to play. It was most fun. And okay, you're trying to hit each other with a ball, and sometimes people get a little rough.
Well, if you're using a baseball.
Yeah. Well, when you're using a ball this big, and
we had a little rubber ball, but I remember getting hit in places where I didn't like getting hit. And anyway, it was called poison ball back then, but dodgeball, poison ball, yeah. Charlie says that's what it's all about: instant gratification. It's not healthy.
With dodgeball, you just got to remember the 5 Ds. The 5 Ds: dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
Yeah.
You guys saw the movie? I'm sorry.
That's cool. No, words of advice.
Yeah, you should check out that movie Dodgeball. It's a funny movie.
Oh, DT Dodge Tube. What was I thinking? Yeah. Scott says, how do we ever survive? Those were we survived. I'm not sure if we're surviving today with all this technology. I guess we are.
But see, that's why you survived, because it built stamina, it built character, it built tougher bodies, it built whatever. You didn't, honestly, not that there was never obese kids when we were growing up, but they were far and few between compared to what you see today. And the reason is because we were out burning off energy,
Yes.
That's not entirely true, though. That we were burning off energy, but our food was a whole lot different, and our eating patterns were a whole lot different then as well. There's a lot more to it than just burning off energy.
Well, and I was going to say that too. The meals, you had home cooked meals. Everybody wasn't eating out every 5 minutes. I said that a long time ago. Back then it was a treat to go out to eat somewhere once in a while. To go to a hot dog stand or whatever. Now it's a treat to eat home as a family.
Yeah, and the sad reality is even what you'd call today a home cooked meal is still the same processed food you get out, because you go and have a home cooked meal that contains a thing where you've opened it up and it has all this mixtures and chemicals and sauces, and you pour it in water and heat it. Very few things that we make today at home or even real.
Well, that's why I said I miss my the days of my grandparents. Even after they had the grocery store was closed down and all that. This little patch of land, that they had for a backyard postage stamp compared to what they used to have. They still made use of it. They farmed it basically, not garden. They farmed it, and they had corn, they had mustard greens, they had grapes growing over the like a trellis over the gangway going out, all that, and they grew their own stuff, and they jarred everything. They still made as much. My grandmother still to that day was making pasta from scratch, laying it out on the bed. I remember all of that stuff as a kid. So but back then you didn't buy processed stuff off the shelf. You went to I don't know, today they'd be considered specialty stores, but if you went to the Italian store and you bought the canned goods and you bought the the things you needed to make this stuff, it wasn't the same. It was truly imported from where it needed to be imported from, and it was it was a different world.
Quick poll here, if I may ask real quick. How many here use your phone or technology to order food or to browse through food? I have a McDonald's app. I seldom use it. You can buy one, get one free, or free fries. I have it, but I almost never, because I seldom go to McDonald's. Nothing against McDonald's.
I order food on my phone all the time.
Okay.
Not at all.
My work schedule, a lot of times, I have to order ahead of time. I have like a 45-minute break. I want it ready as soon as I leave. Right. Instead of wasting time calling.
That's why I don't work 9 to 5 scheduled rigid jobs.
No.
I might occasionally look up a menu if we're out visiting as a family for, and you're going to order something out. You might take a look at a quick menu. Other than that, I don't use it for that.
Colin, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I order pizza on. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
I order pizza on the internet, on the computer. Okay. Sometimes I think I've got an app. I think I had an app for that. I can't remember, but not very often. But I was going to say, talking about what Joe was talking about, I must be a very lucky man because I've got a Cambodian wife. She grows a lot of stuff.
Man, I am getting hungry. God.
And she's growing all the trees, mangoes and apples and oranges and all sorts around here, and all the herbs and stuff that we use for stir fries and stuff. It's all very fresh, so I'm a lucky man.
Yeah, Heather says a long time ago, Mom made a big deal about us sitting at the table together having dinner, and we couldn't watch TV. Kind of like the Godfather setting. Everybody at the table, you don't talk business, you just talk family. Hey. Yeah.
Well, the early days of my father, you didn't talk at the dinner table at all either. Or you got the belt.
Well, it depends what you talked about, But,
Colin, I got a question for you. Is the pizza still hot when it gets there from New York?
Well, we can order New York pizza through Domino's. You got Domino's in America, haven't you?
Well, that's not really New York pizza.
I wouldn't call it New York pizza.
No, you want New York. What's the matter with you, Colin? Listen, you got to go to New York for New York pizza, man. Domino's? It's even a freak Italian name. Jeez. No.
Forget about it. Pops.
Forget about it. Yeah, really. Forget about it.
Deep dish pizza, Colin?
Sorry?
Have you ever had deep dish pizza, or they call it pan pizza, stuffed pizza?
Yeah, we got deep pan over here. We have Pizza Hut and Domino's. I think they're both from America, aren't they? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but those are chains. That's not the same thing. That's not authentic.
Yeah. Those talking about the good old Chicago deep dish. That's like 2 inches thick.
Well, look, one day I'll catch a plane over there because I know that there's a few of my wife's Cambodian families living spread out over America. So maybe one day have to do that.
You have a deep dish pizza here. Each slice weighs a half a pound or a pound of pizza.
Oh, was that right? Yeah. You guys always have big meals over there, though.
Yeah.
You guys have really big meals. We have small meals. I went to a place in Thailand. It was an American place. Can't remember the name of it. And boy, the meals that came out, you should have seen the look on my brother-in-law's face. It was like, I can't eat that.
Yeah, you go to a good restaurant here, you get, I'm talking authentic, like an Italian restaurant or a Greek restaurant or whatever. Usually it's 7 courses, you got one thing.
Yeah, right. Wow. Yeah. And your breakfasts are pretty big too, aren't they?
It's basically an event. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can be big. Well, they say that the most important meal of the day is breakfast.
Yeah.
Probably true.
A lot of times you eat breakfast for dinner too. They say is healthier for you, believe it or not.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I try to eat a good breakfast when I can. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes my breakfast will be a granola bar and a banana. I guess that's healthy, and maybe like an orange juice or just water. But I think one of the worst things we do here in the States, maybe around the world, is eating big after 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that's why they put on. That's why they tell you to eat a big breakfast, is because that's when you really should,
when you need the most energy, right?
And we tend to eat better things usually at breakfast, The stuff that sometimes we eat late in the day is usually the garbage food,
if you're okay with this, I'm going to do a screen share so Colin can see what we're talking about here. How's that, Colin? That's a Chicago-style stuffed pizza.
Wow.
That's deep dish. That's deep dish, right?
Look how thick it is.
Yeah. And that's a lot of times the edges are loaded with cheese or something.
Timo says Connor's Pizza in Chicago. I'm not familiar with Connor's. I'm familiar with deep dish pizza, Timo, but not Connor's.
Wow, looks nice.
Used to go to
You're making me hungry, Joe.
Wow.
It's coming on lunchtime and you're making me hungry.
I have used my phone to call Domino's for their $5.99 large carryout special. Have 2 ready, or whatever. But my cousin has his own pizza shop. Sometimes I'll just walk in and grab a couple of slices and leave. But I will use my technology to call it an order, so it's waiting for me. That's a convenience.
Okay, I gotta. Here we're talking about pizza. I gotta show you this. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I gotta. This is like the
Go
timing
for
is
it.
almost
Yeah.
like candy. This is on Facebook. Now look at before I show it. There's an image here showing a side by side pizza, but look at what they wrote up there. You're gonna want to strangle me anyway. look what it says. New York City versus Chicago pizza. A highly scientific guide. And you look at the sides. Look at them side by side.
I'm going to get hate mail, man. Send all your
Demonetized.
comments to Joey. And
I couldn't.
Joey lives in California. That's where you can reach him.
Google's about to shut down the stream.
Oh, man.
We're talking about pizza. I scrolled down, and the next two things down is this thing with.
Well,
New
Tim's
York.
from Chicago, but well, in Florida they had Chicago-style pizza, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. So here we
that's
Well,
are.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
People that move down there and make it. Yeah.
yeah.
I know. In America, I remember I used to watch a little bit of Oprah Winfrey, and I remember she went on a diet whereas she didn't eat after 7:30. And since I've seen that many years ago, I've sort of followed that rule. I don't eat after 7:30 at night, and it's a pretty good rule to stick by because your body doesn't get rid of the food once you eat.
Well, your
late
body
at night.
has to fight hard. And plus, if I eat late at
Yeah.
night, the food just like churns and like kind of like Alien, the creature.
Yeah.
It's hard. Then you got to go
But
to the
they talk
bathroom.
about-
Yeah.
They talk about obesity here in Australia as becoming a problem, and I know it was a big problem in America. Don't know if it still is. But what gets me is all the good food that's really healthy for you costs a fortune, but
Yeah,
all
that's
the
the
stuff
problem,
that's
yeah.
all the stuff that's no good for you is damn cheap. Now, you tell me something. Where is the responsibility of these countries putting food in place to make sure that affordable food is affordable that's good
Right.
for you, right?
Yep.
And I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
No, part of the difference is though, Colin. Like here, they charge a premium for organic growers. Okay, there's fees and that they have to pay like $20,000 or $30,000 to be able to call it organic. Number one. Number two, because it's not filled with pesticides and preservatives and all that, it has a very, very short shelf life. So the money can't
Right.
be made off it over a longer term. So it's like medications. It's the R&D they got to pay for because the patent's only good for 7 years. So that's why they claim they charge all this astronomical money. We know that that's because they can. But where food's concerned, it's because of how it's grown and the fact that it doesn't have a long shelf life. When it doesn't have stuff keeping it artificially preserved, basically.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to go ahead and shut it down for this evening. I got an early day tomorrow.
All right, DT. Have a good one. Thanks
All
for
right,
dropping
good
by.
night, Derek.
Good to see you. All
Take
right.
care, man. Yep.
See you later, Derek.
See you,
Have a good
Colin.
night.
All right.
Now you mentioned about countries becoming big. My cousin would say, I went to the Walmart today, and there's so many big people walked in the store. The store tilted to one side, and when he walked in,
Yeah.
Let's see. Domino's is not pizza. Well, technically it's pizza, maybe not the best kind of. Actually, Domino's has gotten better.
Yeah.
It's gone better. I mean, it has. I mean, their $5.99 carry-out large is not a bad deal. Sometimes I'll walk to Kroger's buy frozen self-rising pizza. It's pretty good, especially their chicken pizza it's like $2.79 for a large pie. It's not a bad deal, But
Well,
obviously,
Toss,
nothing beats fresh. Yeah.
In Perth, I lived in Melbourne. Now in Perth, there's not a lot of good pizza shops in Perth. So
Okay.
Pizza Hut and Domino's are the best go-to pizza shops. But in Melbourne, there's a lot of Italians, right?
Really? In Melbourne?
And they
Wow.
have because we had one of our pizza shops sponsor our cricket club. So and we used to go down and chat to the guys, and they were great guys. And the Italians make the best pizzas in Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
They certainly
I'm
do.
trying to picture. I didn't know that. That's awesome. I'm trying to picture in my mind a Melbourne Italian accent. How would that, like in New York, we say, forget about it. So an Australian Italian, hey, forget about it, mate. It doesn't have the same impact,
No, it doesn't, Toss. No, it wouldn't sound the same.
No, but that's so cool. There's a lot of Italians there. Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Italian pizza shops. If it's owned by Italian, it's guaranteed to be their really good pizza because we all know Italians' background is is
Right.
pizza, isn't it? At the
Yeah,
end of the
no,
day.
they it's their food, man. It's like their pasta and their dishes. It's it's their culture. So
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of Sri Lankan shops too. Sri Lankan, I think, is probably one of the
Wow.
best food in the world.
Sri Lanka. Jeez.
Yeah, they have the nicest food ever. I would have to pick them out as the best cuisine around. To be
Spudley
honest,
joined he says he likes Papagino. Hey, Papagino. Hey, okay.
Papagino.
Sure, Papagino. Hey, sounds like a game. I want to play Papagino, but no. Keegan likes thin crust pizza. I like it thick. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it thick.
So I get sauce on the side and then dip the crust in the sauce. I think that's great. Anarita, you need to go. Okay. Carlton, Melbourne. It's all Italian. WT is in the house. Welcome, WT.
See you later, Anarita.
Yeah. Take care. So, how popular is Linux in Australia?
To be honest, Toss, I don't really know. I've made myself a website and I'm trying to sort of get something up and running, but
Okay.
I didn't make a website. It's a Wix website. But
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
I'm not technical enough to make. Not technical. That's my only option, Tom. Sorry about that.
No, it works. It works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
works,
works.
but,
Nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
If I don't poke fun of Wix, then I have a problem. I mean, just
Okay, so what's a good freebie website, Tom? What's if you had to pick a freebie? None, really? Oh, okay.
Well, you got
I'm a
Weekly.
web developer, man.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's a
Okay.
web
Yeah.
developer.
Sorry.
He does all his own stuff. I think my daughter's going to start doing that stuff. I hope she does.
Okay.
Then she might be able to teach me how to do some things. But
I
look,
mean,
it's nothing.
I would encourage you to learn WordPress because it's the most widely used.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Okay.
know, it's highly documented. You just got to keep it up to date and stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Um,
She was my biggest critic of when I made my website. It was a bit. I have to say it was pretty lame, to be honest, because I was putting all these colours and that, and her words were, "That's rubbish, Dad." But yeah, she taught me how to make things all look very similar across the board, and so it looks good anyway, I must say. So I'm happy with it. But as far as Linux in Australia, I don't really know how popular it is, to be honest.
Okay. I'm looking at the ticker feed. Some of the ticker that was coming by was the Essential phone is going out of business. I've heard of the phone.
Central phone.
Essential phone, yeah.
Oh, essential.
Essential.
I think that, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the like the $50 Amazon phone?
Oh, is that what it was?
I
Okay.
think I could be wrong
Okay.
about that, but
Okay.
there was a cheap phone that it was so cheap because it would push Amazon ads all over the place, and it fell awry of GDRP, and so they had to stop. If that's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay. Here's the thing on Google and Facebook accused of breaking GDPR. Okay. That was the $8 billion story, right? YouTube star
is
John
this?
Total Biscuit passes away at 30. I don't think I know them. I guess it was cancer. John Total Biscuit Bain? I don't know.
What is this GT? What is it? GD? What is it
It's
called?
the European law. It is the stupidest thing ever. It's European data law, but anybody who potentially serves a website that happens to be viewed in a European country has to comply to it.
Oh,
They actually had the person who's in charge, and she's saying, interesting enough, I caught that on my Alexa, the Amazon Echo story. But she's saying, well, our budget is like 14 million. Of course, you're fighting these giants who worked trillions or billions. How far can they go? But it's something. So, it's a start. But can any good come out of it? I hope so. People are listening, people are watching, people are looking, and the masses do look. If Facebook users were really ticked off, if every single one of them closed their accounts, Facebook, it would be gone in an instant. The power of the masses. But I'm guessing Facebook is even thriving more now because everybody is on Facebook talking about what's happening with Facebook. So actually, the bad publicity is the best thing that could happen to them.
Yeah. It's, I've got a lot of people on Facebook. To try and get them all to change would be almost impossible, I think. Yeah. But I quite like the one that Destination Linux uses, Telegram. You're on that, aren't you, Joe?
I'm sorry?
You're on Telegram, aren't you, Joe?
Yes,
I'm pretty sure you're on. Yeah. And I find Telegram quite good. It's not open to public sort of thing. It's whoever joins. So I find that better because Facebook now, I don't know. I find it's just annoying.
Like I said, I'll use it for like family stuff, relatives, stuff like that, personal stuff. I'm also part of a closed private group to share personal stuff. I don't really post a lot of. I think I've posted a few YouTube videos on privacy, something that's useful for the common good. I'll do that. But when we're talking to Derek, I may join Diaspora, even though it sounds like something that you go to the bathroom for, But I may. And
what is Diaspora? Tuss?
It's an alternative to Facebook, evidently.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
It's like an open source. Yeah. The Mastodon is like their form of Twitter, but instead of a tweet, you toot.
Oh, you toot.
You toot. So we toot. Tim, I forgot to ask if you want to join the chat. Tim, you're more than welcome to. Tim O. Sorry, we've been talking about food again, and my mind went elsewhere. But I did eat all my grapes. That's what's left. I went to Kroger's. They had 99 cents a pound grapes. I should have bought the whole freaking store of grapes. I love grapes, and they're good for you. It's better than Hershey's with almonds, I think. Grapes, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I think so. Stephen Anders.
It's better for you.
Well, you want to go to grapes. Yes, absolutely. A toot, right, Kyrie? Yeah, you toot versus a toot. Sounds like I do at night when I had too much Taco Bell. Tooting. Oh,
the show stealer has arrived.
John Petrie, you just got rid of Facebook. Okay, all right. Well, good for you. Cool. Yeah. Uncle Guido would have a beautiful lady feeding him the grapes. Yes. Right. Toot toot, says William Armstrong. Toot toot to you.
So the best place to use Diaspora is when you're in the bathroom, is it? You do a bit of tooting.
Good one. You can combine the two actions. Yes. Oh man! Well, what's this on the ticker? Dinosaur dandruff reveals first evidence of skin shedding. Dinosaur dandruff.
Oh, right.
Speaking of tooting, years ago I came across a story. This is true. I have to go back and replay that news nonsense with Spatry. But there was a theory. I guess it was legit, unless it's been debunked. But there was a theory that the extinction of the dinosaurs was caused by farting. Too much methane. Yeah. So Spatry's like, what? They farted themselves to death? Oh, come on. So look it up. It was about 4 years ago or something. They farted. Well, I mean, there was a lot of dinosaurs with big butts, I guess, to be too much. Well, there's a story last year, 2 years ago, News and Nonsense, where a farmhouse blew up because there was too much methane from cows. So it's theoretically possible if you had all the dinosaurs at one time go to Taco Bell drive-thru, just let one rip. Oh man, I'll never forget that story. I'll have to do like the best of News and Nonsense. Do another one of these nights. Just replay back some of the stuff. But oh god, hi Spin Viking, welcome. This is from Steve. The Essential phone was made by one of the founders of Android. Okay. Okay. Methane is a greenhouse gas. Maybe that was the angle. Well, I'm sure they did it by many angles, TLC, but
I'm back, gents.
all right, Ben. But interesting way to make roast beef.
Wait a minute. Where did there? I don't know.
Well, that was a long way around the bush, round robin. It went from food down to.
I know. We went to Germany, Nazi, and food. It's look, we're all over the place tonight. But that's the beauty of these. I think Tom sometimes will go off topic slightly. Sometimes, right? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Your dog loves fruit and veggies, Steven Anderson. Really? A dog likes that? Well, I guess a dog will eat anything if it's hungry, right?
Yeah, a dog does eat anything.
Cats
Actually,
are more
you know,
finicky.
veggies
Yeah.
I used to.
I don't
feed
know.
my dog
My
carrots.
my cat likes popcorn and cheese.
No kidding. Wow. Okay.
And I have a cat that likes fruit, likes apples and peaches and stuff like that. And I've got another one that won't eat anything but her food, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I have my dog. They used to say the healthiest thing for treats was carrots and green beans. You can't give it, broccoli or stuff like that. That's harmful for them. But there's a lot of vegetables because there's no calories. They don't gain weight from it, and it's good for. Now again, carrots you don't want to overfeed them because it's hard on the digestive system if you give them too much. So.
John Petrie says caught his dog eating Subway the other day. It's all good. He got two. There was a story a friend of mine told me years ago. He was going to go to law school. He says he got wind of a story. There was a lawyer. He needed more time for his case, so he asked the judge for a continuance. I think it's called, and the judge says no. So the lawyer had to think of some. So the night before the morning of the trial, apparently this guy ate 10 cans of beans. So the next morning in court, he's just letting it rip. So the judge gave him his extension. Your Honor, excuse me. My client is not guilty. I firmly don't. I'm not sure if that would work today, but that was pretty clever of the lawyer. Using gas to, anyway. But your cat eats avocado, Tux 13? Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yes, Heather, too much sulfur makes your tooth stink. That is true.
Time to see if this new ISO works.
Come on.
Did you
So
put a
this-
self-destruct mode in the flash drive though? Like
yeah,
in
yeah.
Mission Impossible?
I'm testing it in a virtual box, Joe.
Oh, okay.
I just finished rendering a video toss. It was about Ubuntu 18.04, the gold standard that you say anyway, the gold standard.
Thank you. Hats off to Martin Wimpress.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been trying to do that for a long time, but it was playing up on this test laptop of mine because it was doing some
what can
funny
I say?
things.
It works out of the box, and the choices of 7 panels, 7 environments,
7 layouts, yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So look, he did it. He did it. It sounds simple, but it works. So hats off to Martin.
Yep.
Maverick asks, "What are my thoughts on the latest Google Assistant feature?" I don't know.
This is silly.
I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts about the latest Google Assistant.
I don't know. What have they put in now? What have they put in now?
Let me look it up because I think I looked up a story on that, but let me look it up here.
Oh, is this one of those things you have in the house, or is this something else he's talking about?
No.
It's built in the phone when you roll it
Oh,
out.
is it?
It's built in the
on the
Android products, right? Yeah, I
Android,
think,
oh.
yeah.
Oh, maybe it's one of those things.
It was a report like 2-3 weeks ago, if I am not
Yeah, I think
mistaken.
basically you could have a conversation with it.
Yeah, I mentioned, I think, in a stream, then it completely, I guess I'm not thinking much about it. I guess that's the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get the latest news and kind of like talking to the Alexa, except you're talking to the Google Assistant, which I guess can be helpful if it doesn't record your conversations without your permission.
I don't know. I'm running Lineage OS, so I don't know. I've got the Google Apps installed, but I don't know if it would have come up on that.
Yeah, you can ask questions, kind of like talking to Siri or Alexa, like when you say "Okay, Google." But they just added more to it, Maverick. I don't use the voice activation feature in my Android phone. I prefer to hit the tap and then go to where I want to. I feel more private that way. So there's your answer. I don't really use it. Yeah.
I don't like all these technologies coming out that make when life becomes convenient, you know something's up.
Kyrie likes to laugh of poop jokes. Makes you can't keep a straight face. Okay. They can contact your clients in a realistic voice that's indistinguishable from a real person. Interesting. Wow. Okay.
You know, I've been seeing more. Matter of fact, I was just looking at somebody posted one of these PC builder forums I follow.
Yeah.
Of a cable that was melting on their water cooling block, and I've seen another one recently of a computer fire like that. And I'll tell you, that's the one thing that makes me nervous about leaving the house with the computers running, because even though I haven't had any problems for 4.5 years on the one, you just never know. These things can be really finicky and scary, and I don't know what's going on. I mean, basically they're electronics and anything can happen to them, but you know, it's a real concern when you think about it, you know, because you don't want to be turning it on and off every time you want to leave, but at the same token, you know, and I've been seeing more, like I said, more and more postings just in the last 3 weeks of people have had, one had a full-blown fire in their case. The case was all melted. Jeez. The other one looking at it, they caught it in time because they were sitting there and they could smell it and shut it down and saw that the insulation must, you know, I mean, it could have been pitched wire in there. Who knows what caused it? So.
Well, I've heard those cheap knockoff chargers sometimes can cause a fire, or a battery, cheap knockoff battery. This is on the ticker here. FBI tells router users to reboot now to kill malware infecting 500,000 devices. Wow. Feds take aim at potent VPN filter malware allegedly unleashed by Russia. Maybe it's your neighbor, Tom. No, I'm just kidding. But
yeah, probably.
That's why I said I've gotten in the habit of, as a regular thing now. And number one, just to clear it out, but I reboot once a week anyway at a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I try to reboot the modem every now and then, just when I get up early.
I'll do that. Yeah, it seems to, especially this Comcast modem, it seems to help. Boba Fett joins the insane pile of upcoming Star Wars film projects. Boba Fett Star Wars movie. Why not? Boy, they're gonna milk this, aren't they?
Oh, it's already dead. They put the thing in the desiccator and they're extracting every little thing out of it they possibly can.
Well.
Disney has completely destroyed the franchise, and the only money they're going to make now is the people who are obsessive about seeing and having everything Star Wars.
Well, they're appealing to a new generation of consumers, fans.
I don't even think they're doing that. I think they're just going for the people because there's people who get involved in collections. There's a certain percentage of the population that will not, even if it sucks, they will not have it in their collection.
Because it's part of their life, I'm trying to think of all the new ones that came out. There was one that was kind of like a off story. What was it, Rogue One? That was good, actually. There was a different story to it, I thought. But, you know, The Force Awakens, The Force put me to sleep. That movie. The Last Jedi was okay. But Rogue One, I can say I really enjoyed that one story. But I'm not really a big fan, per se. But it's their business, so that's what Disney does. So, Kagan says, I want to see a film about the most senior janitor on the 293rd floor on the Death Star. Okay. Did I call you old, Tux13? I don't think I did. The storylines are garbage now, even the Marvel stuff, except for... I haven't seen Deadpool, so I don't know. I haven't told to see it, but yeah.
Speaking of Marvel, we have a Aussie Rules football ground in Melbourne that was sponsored by Etihad is now sponsored by Marvel. So, which is very unusual. Never seen, because they're part of Walt Disney, right? Marvel. Is that right?
I'm not sure. Not sure.
And they're going to be opening. They're going to be opening a store at the football ground selling Marvel products. So.
I used to read some of those comics as a kid, Superman, Spider-Man, and you know, and now I look at it's all come to life. It's amazing what technology has done.
It is.
Who would have thunk it? Disney owns Marvel, according to Spudley. Okay, Spudley.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
They are going to make at least one more Superman, maybe 2 Supermans movie, 2 more Godzilla movies are in the works. I liked the last reboot of Godzilla. It was okay. I kind of enjoyed it. But hey, as long as they can sell tickets, why would not Hollywood still produce the movies? Really, that's their business, to sell tickets. So why not?
So Deadpool is a new Marvel one, is it? Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I guess it's Deadpool 2. My friend said check it out. It's something somewhat different. I might. I don't know. I enjoyed the reboot of Superman, Man of Steel. I thought it was okay. Justice League, you know.
I see. I was in the news as well. I was reading during the week that I can't remember her name. Lois Lane from the original Superman. I think she passed away. Yeah.
I think I did see that. Yes. Yeah.
And she was she was helping out some people on methamphetamine. They had a lab under her house, and they were taking advantage of her and all that sort of stuff. One of her friends was saying, pretty sad.
Wow.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Margot Kidder, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's
TLC,
her. Yeah.
Yes. That's right. From 1977. She was in the first 3 movies, something like that. Margot Kidder.
Yeah, the first 3. Yep, that's correct.
Wow. Yeah.
Bit of a
and
shame.
then the star passed away. From back then, if a horse broke his neck or something.
Christopher Reeves. Yep.
Wow. Yeah. You just never know, man. Yeah. Looks like the latest Ubuntu podcast is out.
I'm sorry about that, Colin. I was reading another wonderful Windows 10 experience story again. It's just sorry. Unfortunately, we're family friendly. I can't repeat what they said.
That's all right. Tux13 says not a lot of new ideas in Hollywood today. Exactly. Where I think my dad's movie can find a nice little audience or a big because it's a story you've never heard of, and I think there's hunger for that. Or any kind of a story that you just haven't heard before. Yeah. You know, it's not the same old, right? You know.
Well, there's something to be said for those movies that are built on or made on truth or history.
Yeah, right. Yeah. A movie I saw, I guess, based on a true story, Hacksaw Ridge, World War II, was incredible.
Yep. Was that Hacksaw Ridge? That was Clint Eastwood, wasn't it?
I'm not sure if he produced it or not.
Was that someone else? Oh, no, I think that was something else.
He did a movie called Heartbreak Ridge, I think.
Heartbreak Ridge, that's right.
Yeah.
Heartbreak Ridge.
But yeah, Hacksaw Ridge, excellent. A little bit violent, but an emotional film. And those are the movies I like to see. Something where I'm just stuck to the story and not just sitting there going, another explosion. Wonder Woman versus Godzilla. Ooh.
Yeah.
But
it's like Black Hawk Down. That was also a
Ridley Scott film. That was good back in the 90s.
True story.
An emotional story. Yes, those are the movies I will pay. I will give money to. Yes, you can. Gran Torino. I'm not sure if that's based off a true story, but it was good. Yeah, lots of sequels, Heather. They're making money off of this stuff. So it's hard for little niche movies like my dad's to find a market. It really does take someone with a vision from a company who says, you know what, let's take a look at this and market it. But
well, there are a lot of. I'm surprised your dad can't find anybody because there's so many stories. Mm-hmm. I mean, even I don't think a lot of people realise what was the Hills Are Alive, The Sound of Music. Yeah. I mean that was based on a war story, and I don't know whether the actual title, whether people realise from the title that it is.
Yeah.
And I think that was a true story, was it? I don't know.
I don't know. It's a wonderful movie. The hills are
It is.
alive. I mean, great music. Yeah.
Yep.
Top Gun 2 is greenlit. I believe so, Maverick. Yeah. Tom Cruise is back. I'm waiting for the next. I'll probably go check out the next Mission Impossible film. I mean, they're all good in my opinion. So, even though it's fantasy, but it's well done. So I might go see that. You know, the new Star Wars film Solo. I'm kind of curious to see that. Maybe. I don't know. You know. Virgin boss Sir Richard Branson readies himself for space. Why not?
You know, movies were a lot more innocent when they were made too, like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and you know, stuff like that. I mean,
Sure.
and you know, Mary Poppins and stuff. I mean, those movies, when you think about, it's basically the same actors, right? Julie Andrews, and then you got you know, Dick Van Dyke, who was a fabulous talent. Even now in his 90s, he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, that's the kind of stuff that we grew up with that was more wholesome, and you know, I mean, it's just, and you still had, you could, you know, think about Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. It sent you into, you got your imagination going. You know, you see this flying car, which you knew could never really happen, but it was just, it was the excitement of that fantasy, and I don't know.
Right.
That doesn't mean people were going to go try and drive something off of a cliff. I mean, not saying that they did, you know, but you know, it's just.
Well, there
the problem
seems to
nowadays.
be
Everybody mistakes stuff for real life, and it's, you know.
There seems to be a certain built-in market for these type of Marvel flicks that it's a guaranteed hit, more or less, and that's why these studio. I guess Black Panther did very well, $1 billion. Haven't seen it, heard that was a good movie.
Is that me or Toss?
No, I was wondering. I was sitting there wondering. No, it was me. Froze for a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, now I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They remade Fahrenheit 451. I saw that. Lost in Space is back on Netflix. So 1 or 2. It's man.
I don't know if you've seen the movie Dunkirk. Have you seen the movie Dunkirk?
That's based on a true story. It was okay. I couldn't quite get into that though.
No, it was sort of like had that eerie music right through the whole movie.
Well, it didn't seem, because if I recall the story, they had those 400,000 whatever trapped, and the Germans were trying to get them on the beach, right?
Yep.
And you would think in real life there was more than 1 or 2 German planes.
Yeah,
that's
right.
all they show. So I'm like, okay, you got this big budget. Maybe throw in some CGI planes. Do something. I'm like, nah, I'm not buying this. Even though it's based on a true story, and they survive, great. But the movie about Winston Churchill, Darkest Hour, that was good.
Right, I
saw that. Yeah, that was excellent. What's his name? Won the Academy Award, Gary Oldman.
Right.
For Best Actor. The makeup was incredible. But then the Best Picture was a fantasy, The Shape of Water. I'm like, are you, what? The Shape of Water. It's a woman. I guess it's based back in the 60s. This half man, half fish creature falls in love with this woman. They have sex, and then they live. I mean, okay, whatever. You know. Bonnie and Clyde. Okay.
Yeah, Bonnie and Clyde was a good one too, and
some of the older Clint Eastwood westerns, I guess, were kind of like fun to watch. High Plains Drifter, stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of Clint Eastwood movies are good.
Yeah. Unforgiven was a good one. I think you won a
Unforgiven is a very, very good movie.
That was a good one. Yeah.
And that's a true story too, isn't it? I believe.
I'm not sure.
I believe that's a true story about some guy who, you know, he went and he'd been shooting a lot of people and killed a family and women and kids and all that. I'm pretty sure it was based on a true story, because it had like the at the end of it or at the start of it, had a story about it or something.
I don't know if it's true story or if it's just laying the groundwork for what the story is.
Right.
Yeah, I can't remember actually.
Yeah.
I'm not quite
But
sure.
see, we keep going back to these low technology movies.
Well, you know,
we're back to the emotion, you know.
I like the what was the Kurt Russell one where he played Wyatt Earp?
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, I think
that was a more recent one, but that was good too. What was it? Okay, not okay. What did they call it? Oh my God! It's
Tombstone. Tombstone.
Tombstone.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was basically a remake of Tombstone, and I thought that one was pretty good.
Tombstone, yeah. Some of the World War II movies are pretty good. Guns of Navarone rings a bell. Steven Anderson mentions that. I'm thinking of In Harm's Way was a good one. A few
Saving
other
Private
ones.
Ryan's another one that I think. Oh, that
excellent. One. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very
real, Ryan. Very
realistic.
good.
Yeah.
That was a true story.
Yeah.
That was definitely a true story. Yeah. That was a story about that lady had, I think, 4 or 5 kids.
Something like that, yeah.
Private Ryan was the last one left out of 4 or 5. So they had to go and get him and bring him back. That was the whole purpose of that story.
And I don't remember if it was that, or I want to say, I think it was when Pearl Harbor was bombed, that there was a, I don't know if we want to call it a policy or a rule or whatever that was enacted that you couldn't have more than one family member serving at the same time in the same branch or ranks or something to that effect because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
310 to Yuma. Was that the movie? I don't know. That was also Western. Yeah. You know what I've been watching on YouTube? The old Kung Fu TV series.
Yeah.
It is so valid today about the philosophy of life and do no harm. Great. And looking back, it's a great TV series even 40 years later. You know, very well done. Great acting, storylines, and everything. And I read it where David Carradine was a dancer. He wasn't a martial artist.
Right.
But he was able to pull it off. And originally, the idea of that series was Bruce Lee. The series was going to be called The Warrior.
Right.
And there was talk to hire him. But nobody wanted to hire Bruce because he was Chinese, even though the series was designed for a person who was Chinese. True story, Colin. And Hollywood thought the American people would not accept a Chinese star. Well, I guess they were right. Idiots. Of course, then the rest is history. Bruce went to Hong Kong, became a legend. He passed away early, but that was his story.
Is that before he was popular? Sorry, Toss.
Yeah, well, he became a Hollywood name playing Kato in the Green Hornet. He was the original Kato.
Oh, okay, yep.
The series lasted a year, and the story goes Bruce got more fan mail than the star in the Green Hornet because of his kung fu stuff, and they were saying because of Bruce's speed. Insane speed, the camera couldn't catch his movement, so they asked Bruce, can you slow down? Bruce, can you slow down? Really, you're going to tell Bruce Lee to slow down? But he did just a nod so you call what he was doing. Otherwise, it was a blur. It's like he's faking it, but he wasn't. So it's a true story, Colin.
Yeah.
So that series lasted a year, and then he got roles here and there. Then I think it was either Steve McQueen or James Coburn who were big stars at the time. I said, Bruce, because you are known of what you do, why not start teaching these stars private lessons? $250 an hour. That was a lot back then, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And he paid the bills that way. He got bits and pieces, roles here and there. There's a wonderful story of him as a fight coordinator on one of the Matt Helm movies with Dean Martin. I think they were called Matt Helm.
Yep.
And you had these big stunt guys, Caucasian big guys, the story goes, that they didn't really think Bruce could do what he could do. So I read the story, and one of Bruce's friends who knew what he can do said, Bruce, why don't you show the guy one of your kicks? So Bruce, I guess, had a wonderful sense of humor. So he got one of these big stunt guys. They said, look, I'm going to just show you one of my kicks. And the guy says, yeah. So he had the guy hold this air shield. You've seen him, you know, the side of the shoulder. And apparently Bruce positioned this guy not too far from the pool. So, of course, when Bruce let loose, this guy went literally flying through the pool. And the story goes that stuntman came up a Christian out of that pool, But it was stories like that and his reputation that Bruce was able to pay the bills, as it were. But he knew he was at the right time of his life and the right time of history that he could do more. But Hollywood was not interested because of a slant of his eyes, if you can believe that.
Yeah.
And he says, "Screw it! I want to go to Hong Kong." When he went to Hong Kong, he didn't. This was before the internet. When he went to Hong Kong, he was already a star. Didn't know it. You want to know why? The Green Hornet was shipped overseas to Hong Kong, but it wasn't called the Green Hornet show. It was called the Kato show.
Right.
And Bruce, because it was one of their boys, it was a hometown boy, made it big in Hollywood. He really didn't, not yet. So he would do TV shows in Hong Kong, demonstrations, and sure enough, a producer there, martial arts flicks, saw Bruce, gave him a shot, and the rest is history. He did a kung fu movie there. I mean, the stories were dumb, but it was all Bruce. This is all about Bruce, These were low-budget flicks. But it gave Bruce an opportunity to show what he can do. He didn't want to do it. He wanted to work in Hollywood, high production value stuff.
Yeah.
But he says, no one believes in me, I'll show them. He went there, and he pulled it off.
His movies were good. When I was younger, we used to go to Chinatown in Melbourne. That's where they used to play his movies.
Well, again, Bruce just had that natural screen presence.
Yeah.
And his fighting, it wasn't like the John Wayne Western wild punching.
Yeah,
I mean, it was an art form. And finally, someone at Warner Brothers, a CEO, took notice. He says, I think it was one of Bruce's friends, I think he said, Bruce, send me some of your film, some of the fighting. I'll send it over to the CEO. See what he says. The story goes, Bruce sent him the film. They had a meeting with the CEO of Warner Brothers at the time. And the story goes, he showed the CEO the film, and the guy says, okay, fine, call him, because this guy was stunned. And that's how Enter the Dragon got made. For less than $1 million. And the movie made hundreds of millions worldwide. That was the movie that made Bruce a star. He died before the movie got released, unfortunately. But that's the story of Bruce. He believed in himself. Again, it's the story of humanity. The emotional stories is what sells. There was a movie last year called Birth of the Dragon, somewhat based on Bruce's life. It was not approved by the Bruce Lee Foundation. It was kind of silly in a way. It wasn't that bad of a movie, but it wasn't really a true story, But his wife, Linda, wrote a few books on Bruce's life and what they went through. It was a mixed marriage. They did not approve, evidently, back in the 60s. They fell in love and had 2 kids, But yeah, Bruce was definitely years ahead of his time in terms of fitness, the technology behind fitness and the martial arts and what you see now, multi-mixed fighting, whatever, mixed martial art.
Some of his philosophies were good too. One very powerful statement I remember him saying was, you got to be like water. Mm-hmm. And it was, if you put water in a jug, the water becomes the jug, right? So, yes. And that's all about his movements and all that sort of thing. I think he was
being able to adapt, because water can adapt.
Yeah,
right.
That's exactly
and
right.
That's what his philosophy. His wife, when she wrote that book, there was now a legendary story about Bruce and how his style of kung fu came to be, Jeet Kune Do. But the story goes, she was pregnant with Brandon, the son. And Bruce taught to anybody, white, black, it didn't matter. If you were sincere, he would teach you. He wasn't a racist. Well, there was supposedly a kung fu master at the time who thought that the kung fu should be secret just to the Chinese. And Bruce says, no, I want to teach whoever I want. And Bruce was challenged. The guy says, if I win, you stop. If you win, you can do what you want. Bruce says, fine. So Linda Lee wrote, I think she was a little nervous because she was pregnant with Brandon. There was a fight. Bruce won, but she says Bruce was very upset. He won the fight. He was mad because the fight took minutes. Bruce said that fight should have taken seconds. It took too long.
Yeah.
And that was the birth of Jeet Kune Do, his style.
Right.
True story. He says the fight just took too freaking long. And the legend was born, Back in 1964, I think it happened. Something like that. It was right before Brandon was born. And Bruce realized, and Bruce was out of breath too after the fight, which wasn't good. and he changed his way of thinking. That's why he was years out of his time. Fitness.
Yeah.
If there was such a thing as a perfect human specimen, it was Bruce.
Yep.
One of the Hollywood wives said, "I felt Bruce's arm, touched his arm. It was like feeling warm marble." Oh man, God bless Bruce. So, but his story lives on in the movie. So Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee fight scene? Yes, Maverick. That was shot inside the Coliseum.
Yep, that was an awesome.
Modern gladiators, well done scene. Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Blade Runner. Has Steven seen 2049? I don't know, Steven. Have you? I saw it. It was okay. It was all right. It is after midnight here already. This is great. Last call for comments here in the chat. And I'll wrap it up live. Then we can chat a little bit more if you want here off live. But this was great. So if any of you who missed this, you can go back and replay it. I don't edit these posts. They seem to be okay for the most part. Again, multiple topics tonight between technology, the lost story of Ferramonti, food, Bruce Lee. Why not? It's all one open community. Again, if you are new to these live feeds, please stop by and say hello. You're always welcome here. So,
is your father actively looking for someone to take on his movie, or?
He's looking for a partner. He's looking for someone with the ability to distribute the film, put up the money to distribute the film. He doesn't really want money up front. He just wants someone with, like Warner Brothers or whatever, just help him out. Yeah. He's not he doesn't have the millions of dollars to do it all himself. And he spent a lot of money. Is the movie in full?
Yeah. Is it in full, the movie? Or
the movie's completed. The movie's completed. A to Z, it's completed. Like I said, he had a private screening last month. It went well. I guess he got a standing ovation. He was very pleased, but he was disappointed that so far the offers are for him to sell his rights to the movie, sell his baby. He's like, why do I want to do that? He's stuck in a hard place because he wants the world to see it, but because the way this works, it's like you have a piece of property, Colin, like a piece of real estate. You can either keep it, hope for some wonderful deal. You can sell it outright, take the money and run, or you can rent it, lease. It's the same thing with a piece of film property. The problem with film, especially with this topic, if he sells the rights, the entity, the company or person can do whatever they want. They can change the story.
That's exactly right.
They can make it to garbage. They can.
You don't want the story changed. You want it told exactly in its
You're talking a piece exactly. You're talking a piece of his. You're talking about Italians and Jews, two religions. You don't want that twisted. And this movie is not political at all. There's not. It's just the way it happened. People helping people. And he doesn't want to give up the rights. Why would he want?
And that's a raw story from your father himself, isn't it? Which is
he picked up the story because the Ferramonti concentration camp was not too far from where he lives in Italy. Right. So it kind of hits close to home, and he got wind of the camp and the true story of the Catholic priest who never knew he was Jewish until the end. It's a wonderful story.
Yeah.
That's why it hits close to home, because it hasn't been told before. But he can't afford to give up the rights, because what if it's twisted in some form or fashion?
I agree with that.
And he can't. So
he is stuck between a rock and a hard place, is what they say, isn't it?
He is stuck because a lot of time, a lot of money. He had heart surgery. He's got to watch his health. There are days he doesn't feel good. He feels bad. He should be here because of his grandson's graduation. Sunday he can make it. I said, don't worry about it. Watch out for your health. He took on a project that, it was a long shot to start with. He pulled it off. Him and the writer, the director is fighting cancer. It's a miracle. I guess they're both still alive, but they pulled it off. And I guess it's for a reason, Colin. So
this mainstream movie industry, though, is hard to get into unless you sell them everything. They want everything, and it's a real shame, because
It's
things
not
like that.
always that way, but he's
think
going to have to
mostly it
find
is.
someone to believe in the story, and I think it should first be released in Italy because it is their story. That's where it happened. It should be released first there. It makes sense, but I mean, he's not picky. Like if somebody wants to release it in, I mean, like in Switzerland first or whatever, fine. The point is just to get it out there and let the people do the talking. You know.
For sure.
Yes, Maverick. International rights, international channels would be great, but he would be happy to do it locally, and then word of mouth spreads, and the news outlets get wind of it, and the power people that be get wind of it. He just needs a little help. He can't do it all himself. He doesn't have the resources, you know, and he's burned out. You know.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at now. So, I mean, I've posted little things on Facebook here and there about the movie. And the story of Ferramonti, it's all over the web. If you do a search, it's all over the web. So,
can you not? Has he got like a website for this where people might come across it and maybe say, I might.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't really set up. Everything is handled through the production company in Rome.
Right.
I think they posted something on Facebook. Honestly, I used. Here in the States, I posted either Wix or Weebly, one of the freebies, to post the story of the movie and the trailer.
Okay.
And then my other email to contact me personally. And really nowadays, that's all you need. You know, this is the movie, it's out there. You know, contact me if you have any interest here. And then the production company in Rome handles it overseas, there in Italy. You know, but you can have all the websites you want. If the deals, if a deal that you cannot refuse is not coming through, who cares about the website, right? You know. But
is it not worthwhile making a YouTube video with the title of The Cross and the Star yourself?
I posted
tell the story, put the
trailer.
trailer.
I posted the actual trailer and the video last month. It's out there on my feed. It's definitely out there. Yeah. Yeah, about the movie. I think it's like an hour.
But that was in one of these videos, though, wasn't it? You showed
no,
us.
This was just. This wasn't a live. No, this was just a short edited video that I posted.
Right.
Separately of the live feeds.
Okay.
You know, talking about it. Showed the trailer and links below in the show notes and stuff like that. It's just a matter of finding the right person, and he's out there somewhere. The right person to say, I think you got something. And sometimes it does take years. It can happen. The George Lucas, who wrote Star Wars, thought he had a dud. He really thought he had a dud. But I think he had a friend, you may have heard of him, Steven Spielberg, who says, no, I think you got something here. And then now the rest is history.
Yep.
But he thought the movie was going to bomb.
Especially since Disney bought it. Now it's really history.
Well, now, yeah, right, yeah. The Cross and the Star should be. It is. It's copyrighted overseas, at least. Maverick, yeah. I believe there is a documentary called The Cross and the Star, but it's a longer title in the book. But there is no Cross and the Star feature film. But if it was trademark already, they could fiddle with the title, call it The Sign of the Cross of the Star, something like that. Does your dad have access to an entertainment lawyer? He's got lawyers in Italy, I believe. Yeah, lawyers is not the problem, Maverick. It's just finding a fair deal. And I have a friend of mine who's an attorney here. He's retired. He can look at the contract and read a simple contract. That's not the issue. Just find the right deal where he doesn't have to sell the rights out.
And I imagine in that world right now, the same thing goes on with books.
Yeah.
Writing books, you have lunatics coming out of the woodwork trying to be like, and I got them today. Even today you get vanity publishers like, ooh, your book is awesome. You need to do more marketings. We'll sell you a marketing package for $3,000 or $6,000. You get the same stuff over and over, and so that's what you got to avoid.
Yeah, Maverick mentioned venture capitalists such as entertainment lawyers, possibly. My dad had the private premiere in Rome, and it got some good press. Couple newspaper, couple blogs. Go see it. My dad got official letters of recommendation from the Vatican and the Jewish community. And as wonderful as that sounds, the offers are not what he's looking for. It's hard to believe to be this close, but yet so far. And he's disappointed. Even the Vatican apparently is telling me they want the rights. They don't want to help him. So it's all politics.
It's all money.
If we could, before we
Yeah.
start getting too close to the end here too, is being that it's Memorial Weekend, and it'd be interesting to poll whoever's in the chat on who served in the military, so we can say a big thank you. I myself never had the opportunity. Closest I came was on the police department for a period of time, but I think it'd be a nice thing to do, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And if they basically just, I guess just say yes or no if you're in the military, just type it in. So.
Yeah, Harmony Gold. I took a screenshot of that, so I'll remember this weekend. It's a busy weekend, but thank you, Maverick. Yeah, and I can tell my dad, and he can forward it to the production company in Rome. Maybe they've heard of it. I don't know.
You did say it's on Facebook, yeah, Toss?
I posted on my the trailer on my Facebook page.
Is it called Brotherhood of the Cross and the Star, or just the Cross and the Star? That's the only one I could find.
No, the Brotherhood, that's a separate. No, but the one separate. I posted, it's the Cross and the Star, or La Croce. Here, let me just type it so you know what it's in Italian here, so you'll know. La Croce e la Stella. The Cross and the Star in Italian, so you'll know.
La Croce. It'll be under that, will it?
It might be under that. You could try that. I think the production company put a separate Facebook page for that. I believe so. I think there's a couple behind the scenes photos. The actors are somewhat well known overseas, not so much in the States. But I didn't want famous American actors because it would take away the authenticity. I wanted kind of like no names, people that audience can relate to in the movie. But yeah. But you can look up Sandro Di Stefano, Facebook. He wrote the music. Awesome. Gifted man. Absolutely. I told him, man, I said, Sandro, you nailed the soundtrack to this movie. When I first heard it last year, I was glued to that soundtrack. Even today, it's haunting in my mind. It's a beautiful piece of music. But I mean, I'll keep you guys posted if anything comes up. But he just needs.
I wish him marketing.
Yeah, normally something like this, you would have like $1 million or so set aside for marketing. He just doesn't have. He's not that kind of a. He just doesn't have it, That's where a production company comes in, like what they see, and they promote it. I did acting in Orlando years ago, 20 years ago. Plus, when I was in college, I did a few things. Maverick, yeah.
So you were trying to become an actor, were you, Toss? Or?
No, I kind of did it on the side.
Right.
Did it on the side. And you never know. Sometimes you might catch a break and be a star, but it was part-time stuff, because I enjoyed doing it. And Joe says, thank the families, for their dedication and sacrifice. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not. I look at it this way. It's obviously not only the soldiers who serve, but their families who go through it as well. So to me, it's very important. That's why it isn't much, but when I have an opportunity, if I see soldiers out somewhere and I can buy them a meal or pay for something, card or things like that, just something to let them know that they're appreciated for what they've done. It doesn't have to be even current. I mean, there was a documentary here in Wisconsin about Vietnam vets, and I recognized one of the names, and I searched him out, called him up. He wound up being a cousin of a friend of mine that was a roofing contractor, and we had a very nice conversation. And and I think so often those vets get forgotten about a lot of times too. So.
Is it true that in maybe some parts of the states over there that it's illegal to buy homeless people food or to feed them or something?
I've seen stories like that. I think it's disgusting. I've seen it.
You talk. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, and I've seen some. Like I used to work in in a soup kitchen, and I'd go around and talk to some of the homeless guys. And so one guy was telling me even churches that he was around would turn on sprinklers at night just to keep the homeless people off their lawns. It's just like, yeah, how about that's really showing the spirit of Jesus, you know?
Yeah.
And there's two sides to the coin here too with that, where that goes, and the reason, well, I'm going to explain myself, but yes, there are areas like that, and one of them being down in Florida. It's pretty strict down there with some of the things because they have a problem being a warmer climate with homeless people, especially downtown, and there's a lot of upscale. I mean, there's Maserati dealers and all, things like that, but it gets to the point where, I hate to say this, but the ACLU stepped in on behalf of them, that they've actually gotten abusive, the homeless people. Instead of trying to care for them, they turn around and they will swear at you, or they will come up to. I mean, my brother-in-law had it happen to him, where he was sitting there at an outside dinner table or breakfast table, whatever, because they have a lot of that out there, and walk up and take something off your plate, and you don't dare you try to shoo them away, but you don't dare ever get into altercation or whatever, because it basically put them at a different level. So there's good and bad and all, but overall, yes, I think they need help, and they need a hand up, not a hand out. And we actually have a place here, a shelter for teens. It's called 1649. We did a pub crawl several years ago. We're doing whatever. There's constant fundraisers to try to help. I mean, it's amazing how many kids don't have a roof over their head. So I'm not trying to paint the wrong picture. Please don't get me wrong there. But again, there are communities like that where that's actually the other extreme, the other side of the coin too.
Yeah. Well, there's people who don't want to encourage them to be around because it can bring down the value, and that's unfortunately where we are. The reason I don't go to that soup kitchen anymore is we served 3 homeless people, and everyone else was the international students that came in from the Christian guys working on campus. And it was just like, it was, in my opinion, an abuse of our service, and I didn't want to part with it, so I left. But because it's like that's designed for. I mean, a lot of it was designed because we have enough homeless people. There's a couple shelters in town. There's some churches that give out meals. But when you go down there, and I wanted to work with homeless, and you go down there to serve a meal, and you got 3 homeless guys and 150 Chinese folks coming in. Not again, nothing against the Chinese folks, but our purpose was to help serve the needs in the community, not the international student crowd who comes in, because the international student crowd that comes in probably has enough money to eat.
Probably.
And that's where I had a problem with serving in that capacity.
You speak about pizza too. I don't know if it's New York or whatever. I remember seeing a story not that long ago about a young man who had a pizzeria, and he started out giving slices to homeless people. And then what started happening was people would donate. They'd walk in and say, "Here's $1, pay for them to buy a slice." Next thing you know, you put it up on the board. You put a name up on the board. They go over. They take a tag. They could come in every day and get a slice of pizza for free. And it's phenomenal, and it just grew.
Well,
the other side of the coin was, when I look at this country being so wealthy in so many ways, there shouldn't be a problem like this. And what's even more shameful is the military personnel, because they serve the country, who wound up now, many of them losing everything, their families, everything, because it's awful. So, not that I didn't want to go down the depressing path here with this.
No, it's fine. I think if entities, governments, countries, people have the capacity to help others, do it. Do it. Don't think about it. Pick something. Here in the States, you could pick the Homeless, the Cancer Society, Children's Hospital. Do something.
It comes down sometimes. There's a couple of things you can look at here. In some occasions, you cannot help those who are not willing to help themselves, number one. But then again, feed a man a fish, or give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach him to fish, you feed him for life.
Right.
And there's those scenarios as well. But also, you got the other side of the coin, where all of these first world countries with homeless, they've got plenty of money to spend on military stuff and the newest submarines and boats and all that sort of stuff, but they cannot. And our country, I know, gives a lot to Indonesia. We give millions of dollars to Indonesia. But we can't help homeless.
I think Jesse Ventura, the former governor, the former wrestler actor, said it best, because he was thinking about running for president, but he bowed out. He says, you know what? If you can't live, he was talking about specific people, companies, if you can't live on $100 million a year, then there's something wrong with you. Basically what he was saying is you don't need all that. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I guess it's human condition. If you make 100 million, I want to make 200 million because it's like a drug, you know.
Well, the other thing too, we had a former governor here, Tommy Thompson, that he had enacted some laws here that basically, because we were getting what they call double dippers because we're near the Illinois state line. So you get some coming up from Illinois and they're collecting on the welfare system. So what he started was basically, he said, fine, you're having tough times, you're having a bad situation, you need to collect from us, that's fine, but you're gonna work or volunteer 20 hours somewhere a week or whatever before you get it. And it's amazing how it thinned out the herd with people that were abusing the system. I mean, to me, if I have somebody come up and ask me for money, now the other day, well, I say the other day, it's probably about 2 weeks ago now, somebody asked up, he's walking with my wife and I were going into a restaurant, and he said, can I have a dollar or two for gas? And coincidentally, all I had was $1 on me as far as loose change or whatever. And I gave it to him. He had the gas can in his hand, and I'm thinking he's driving this big truck, and it's like, okay, you didn't know the gas was getting low, so whatever. So I gave it to him. I don't normally do that. When somebody asked me, can I have, a couple of bucks for something to eat, I said, no, but I will take you there and I'll buy you something to eat, because I want to make sure that that's exactly what they want to go for. They're asking for that specific reason, not that they're going to go, I hate to say it, buy alcohol or drugs or whatever. And that's always the way I've been. And you'd be surprised how many people they've turned me down, and a lot of times, because again, you get the abuses of it, that a lot of them make better living begging for money than if
I mean, in general, you don't want to give a homeless person money at all under any way. What you want to do is you want to give them the resources, either the education or food.
That's
give them a burger, and they're less likely to hawk that burger for drugs. Give them money, and that's going to be traded first.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what my dad's going to do with the money if he ever sells the film. But the first thing that came to mind to me was Children's Hospital, cancer research, because of my son. Thank God he's healthy and he's going to graduate high school, and I've been blessed. There's been some hardships, but then there's other parents who don't have the same type of situation. But I think children's hospitals do good work. That's who I would give to, but I wouldn't want it to be anonymous. Here's some money to help you out. Don't put it on the web or nothing, because it would make me feel good, doing something for humanity. If you're capable, if you don't have it, you don't have it. But for me personally, that's what I would do.
It's really sad, that like no matter what it is in this world, everything gets abused at some form or another, and it winds up hurting the people who really need it. And the other thing too is you can't always judge a book by its cover. I mean, you look at me, and I don't look like I'm unhealthy, and yet I have some pretty significant issues going on. So I always say I wish the inside matched the cover, the outer cover. So you can't always judge people that way either. But when you get, that said, you get into a bad place in your life or a bad way, a lot of times it's hard to crawl back out. And it's like Tom said, the help needs to come somewhere, whether it's simply in the form of a meal, or like you said, giving you the path or the method or the resources, whether it's a support group or whatever, that can help get you back to the place you need to be in your life. And trust me, I know what it's like to try to crawl out of a dark place. When I was the guy that used to help do everything for everybody, and when I lost feeling from the legs down, I had my back fused and all that. I have to ask, and I don't like that feeling. That's, you know,
Yeah.
for things. So, you know, it's very hard for people who get into that place in their life to have to ask for help. You know.
Yep. Well,
Most,
we're all very proud, really. At the end of the day, aren't we? Most of us in general like to do things ourselves, and we feel proud of ourselves when we do that. So, yeah, I'm the same. I don't like to ask for help, and unless you really need it, then you have to ask for it, don't you?
There's nothing wrong for asking for help if you really need it. Like my dad really needs it. He doesn't have anything left to give, and so there's nothing wrong if you need it. Ask because then if you get the help and you make it big, now you help the other person who needs help. You know.
That's right.
you know, I'll give you an example though. This is a little different. I'm not talking just about money. I went to the landscape supply place to get the fertilizer for the lawns, and I get 3 bags. So I got 3 properties, and I had to ask for help to load it. And here, the woman behind the counter comes out and is getting ready to load it, and some guy says, "Well, wait, I'll get that for you." And I looked at him. You know, here I'm this 6'2", 240 something pound guy, and I got a woman loading my stuff. You know, and that is so embarrassing. And I'm parked in the handicap spot or whatever. And I explained to him. I said, "Just so you know, I've got a few vehicles. That's quite all right. You don't have to explain yourself." But it's embarrassing. You know?
But you shouldn't have to explain yourself, though, Joe.
Well, I understand that, but
if people don't see where you're parked, right, and can't work it out, then there's something. They're the ones with the issue, right?
Well, he didn't see where I was parked, though. He didn't know what I had for a vehicle or whatever. Yeah. Stuff was inside. I guess my point is here how I feel. I was, I'm the guy that was raised as the provider of the family and do the things, and you take care of everybody. To now, I don't know if the next step I take is going to be my last or whatever because of what's going on in my back. But, so that's my point is I'm saying this. So basically, if nothing else, to enlighten people, don't always judge a book by its cover.
No,
many people suffer from COPD, which is a breathing disorder.
It's probably fitting that we gravitated to a topic of people helping people because that's what the story of Ferramonti is all about.
Yes.
You mentioned about the handicap thing. I used to watch a TV series, I think it was back in the 80s, called Highway to Heaven, with Michael Landon, where he played an angel with the power of, God gave him powers to do things, whatever, for the good. The scene pops into my head, Joe. I don't know why, but I guess I'll tell you guys. It's a beautiful scene. He's at a parking lot going to a grocery store, and this, for lack of a better word, this punk parks his car in the handicap zone, and he's not handicapped. And the angel, Michael, tries to tell him you can't park there, and the punk says, "Well, screw, I'll park anywhere I want," or something like that. So he goes inside to shop. The punk comes back out to his car, which is now upside down inside the handicap parking lot. And the guy says, "Oh my God, what happened to my car?" Michael says, "God only knows." A brilliant scene, but I wish that would happen in real life,
If I'm going through a parking lot and there's no available spaces, or let's say there's one opening up and I see another elderly person going around with a tag in the window, I'll pass it by and let them have it, and I'll come back later.
Sure.
Yeah, especially if the parking lot's too full. And it's not that I'm incapable of walking across a parking lot. The problem is there's been incidents, and this is how it all started with me after the surgery. Things seemed okay for a while, but they couldn't fix everything I was under to them. And I hit a divot in the parking lot that I didn't see. And for me, that's dangerous because if I've got nerve damage and if something shifts the wrong way or whatever, I'm stuck. I have to stop in place. And that's when the doctor insisted on me getting the tags. It took me a year before I finally resigned myself that I need to do that. And yes, are there people that abuse that too? They got a family member's tag, they go on, they pay, whatever. I mean, that's the world we live in.
Yeah, right. Is that a work injury, Joe? Is that a work injury or something? Or
part of it was hereditary issues where hereditary has you have a canal that's lined with fluid that protects your cord, and mine was a birth defect. It was smaller than normal, but then over the years of the type of work I did, injuries, whatever, the discs got wore away to nothing. I have the same thing actually going on in my neck.
Degeneration, isn't it?
Yeah, so you have no discs, and my spine was actually sitting on top of each other, forward and down. It was crushing my cord. Yeah, I have the same thing going on in my neck, which I'm biding my time, but it's getting close. I'm gonna have to have that done, and my back's gonna have to be done again too because they couldn't figure it. But that is more common than you think. A lot of people think it's just a sciatic nerve. But if you're starting to have, I don't preach what's going on with me with everybody else, but I do know that symptoms are, which I should have paid more attention, is if you get like somebody sticking hot needles in your toes and you get, sharp jabbing pains, that's more than just a sciatic nerve. If it's constant and regular, or you get burning in your feet, that kind of thing.
Right.
But then again, everybody's different. There's a lot of the neuropathic pain actually mimics diabetic symptoms, because they checked me for diabetes too to make sure that wasn't going on because of the neuropathic issues. So it's that's why my wife kind of laughs at me now. If I go to the store to get cat litter or whatever, I get quite a few bags, and then they take it down for me. But I have it loaded, and I'll tell the young kids, please be careful when you're lifting it, lift correctly. And I got it, I'm fine. They said, listen, you see what I look like? I don't look like I'm all that bad of shape, right? I said, but look where I'm parked. They said, there's a reason I'm parked here. I said, because I used to think the way you did.
Yeah, that's
so right. I try to educate these kids. Because my father always told me, I used to come in the house, slam down on my knees as a kid or whatever. You're going to pay for it someday. You're going to pay for it. Okay, Dad. Guess what? I'm paying for it.
Well, my mum just had an operation on her neck as well, because she had her cord was being interrupted as well with the nerve. So she's just had an operation, and that seems to have gone okay. So
they going through her throat? Did they go in that way in the front?
Yeah, she said she had a sore. I'm not exactly sure how they did it, but she did say she had a sore throat for a few days. Could only eat ice cream or something, so couldn't eat at all hardly. So
if they must have done the type of surgery I'm talking about, though, Colin, she would be 3 months in a neck brace.
Oh no, it wasn't that bad then. No, it wasn't that invasive. I don't think.
I had to wear a full body center brace for 3.5 months.
Right.
You've got a cage in my back and all that stuff too. My wife, I once I was in bed, I couldn't be up.
Right. Well, she did say she had a cage put in her spine, in her neck, a cage. That's what she said it was. So I don't know. Maybe not.
You do stuff. No, you'd be surprised. It's invasive. Yeah. No, but the point is, like we just said, Carmine. I mean, if you could, a little kindness toward others, self-consideration, whatever, even if you're in need yourself, if somebody else appears, it's pretty obvious if somebody needs more than what you do, you do the right thing, make the judgment or whatever,
When I grew up as a kid in Brooklyn, the 70s, I learned about the streets real fast. You had to, or else you may not make it the next day. Right. And I saw the good and the bad. And obviously I chose the righteous way and the good way. But, in the end, all we have is our humanity. Sometimes we're ashamed to be human, to ask for help. I'm looking at the stream here. We still have, in spite of this off top, we still have more than 30 people, because it's hitting home for some. It's amazing. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. We're not talking Linux right now, but this is part of the community. And what's Linux all about? Helping people, part of a community. And we still got 30 plus viewers because it hits home. And I get it, guys, girls. I totally get it. Nobody wants to feel like they live in the world where people suck. If I'm saying that the right way. Nobody,
Sounds
in
right.
In spite of what my dad's, when my dad and I spoke last fall, the movie wasn't quite ready. He needed help with the subtitles, He wanted me to fly overseas, look at the script, and help with the subtitle, with the translation. I said, Pop, it's called email. Just send me the script. And he says, I want help because I want to put in the beginning of the film, and I mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again for the crowd here in chat. He says he was so bitter because he was promised help, he didn't get it, financial, and otherwise it was his blood, sweat, and tears, and he wants to put something in the film where this movie was done without outside help from anybody, third parties. I did it all myself. I said, Now I'm thinking, Pop, don't seek revenge. Don't seek vengeance. Now if it's something because of legalities, you put that in there, and we did. But it sounded like he was seeking like to stick it to that. Well, don't go that route. Don't go that route. Now we have something there. This movie was created independently of third-party financing, and that's fine for legal reasons or whatever. But it just sounded like he wanted to go vengeance style, and I said, "Don't." I didn't want. We don't want to go there. Now the ironic thing is, after we went through that conversation, he forgot to put at the start of the film based on a true story. The most important part, But anyway, it turned out okay. But it's again. It's all about nobody wants to feel like they're left out of humanity, of the human condition. So,
Yep.
Anyway, I think we're going to wrap this up here in the chat. It looks like we've emotionally attached enough people as possible, I believe. It's great to do these live shows. And the number one reason is there's no editing. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have to break out my dinosaur computer to run the videos. But thank you to everybody here in the chat. If you missed any of this, you can replay this once it stops processing from YouTube. There are a bunch of links below in the show notes. If you can help support the channel, that would be great. All I use is pretty much PayPal right now. Again, that's the links in the show notes. Have any comments or questions, let me know, and we'll go from there on the next stream. I might be on Sunday night, might sneak in a news and nonsense. It's been a while, Tom, I'll let you know if you're available Sunday night. Maybe we can do a 2-for-1. We'll do a Life in Linux, or
probably after 9:30. I should be.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. I think we should do a follow-up on the Linux privacy thing. Just to clarify a few things. I still have a few questions. Maybe that, and maybe we'll finish up with news and nonsense.
Okay.
Maybe you get Alan in there too, like you were. I know you saw him the other day in the stream of EBs, but yeah, and hopefully get him back on your show too. I think that'd be good.
Yeah, there's a lot of good information out there, and again, knowledge is power. Use it wisely. So I'll leave it there. All right, I'm going to stop the broadcast now. Heather, everybody else, Jeffrey, he says, you guys are great. Thank you, everybody here. Tim, poor Tim, he's been kicked in and out. See, this is why you need a backup Windows PC. How many freaking times I got to tell you?
You did not just go there.
Just for the sake of the community. That's all.
A backup PC running Linux mint Cinnamon.
That's what
he has that.
No,
he's running.
The backup one running Manjaro.
Yes, a rolling release. Thank you.
It sounded like he had internet issues tonight, though.
It could be. Yeah. It could be. I
was
don't know.
actually having internet issues all day. My internet was in and out all day, so I didn't get anything done yet.
Well, I was on my laptop before, and I tried Google Chrome, I tried Chromium. They both kept stopping.
Really?
And now I'm on Ubuntu now proper on my main system, and that's fine. So I don't know, and that was on Ubuntu Budgie. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know whether it's drivers, because all the codecs.
I have backup computer, backup desktop, multiple ThinkPads. You guys know that. I don't recall ever having that. Maybe he just needs to try another OS. I mean, I don't know.
But it's
another
interesting
distro.
That you say that, Colin, because that's exactly what he was having issues with. The same exact browsers tonight.
Yep, there's something going on with Google Chrome and Chromium for some reason with this, but on this machine, it's fine. This machine doesn't have NVIDIA, so I have a feeling it could be an NVIDIA issue too with the latest versions.
Well,
Jeffrey says Ubuntu Mate, for the win.
Well, we can't be so quick to blame the distros either, because a lot of times if you're on a line,
that's right.
You just don't know.
Every browser, every website you go to, all of that are different entities, on top of a layer.
It's always hardware. It's always hardware and some different change of something. So
I don't know. I mean, I'm okay. You guys are Europe, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to. If Tim can come back on, we'll tell him get a backup ThinkPad with Peppermint OS, and you'll be fine. Okay? No, I don't know.
There you go. That'll work.
Yeah, because look, I was able to stream, and then I'll end it. I was able to stream. Some of you guys, I was able to stream a few weeks ago on a ThinkPad with less than a gig of RAM. I was able to, no webcam, but I was able to stream and it worked. It wasn't thoroughly smooth, a Peppermint OS and a ThinkPad with 768 megabytes of RAM. I streamed live around the world. So take that, Windows 10.
Yeah.
All right, I'm here. I'm done with the live stream in the chat. We can stick around a few minutes more if you want. Here's the chat. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. See you later.
And possibly Sunday night,
See ya.
we'll just make sure that bell thingy is clicked on because it never works anyway, right? All right. Catch you guys later here in the chat. Ciao.
See ya.